Hello, my dear friend of sleepy history. Welcome to the future, the era where AI writes
We
your job
regret to
application
inform
and the
you.
rejection letter.
Access
Where your
denied.
smart fridge judges
Snack
your midnight
quota
snack,
exceeded.
and your dating app matches you with a robot therapist who says, sounds like a you problem. This is the
Emotion
age
alert.
where humanity
Mild
finally
frustration
answered the
detected.
question, what if we optimized everything and forgot why we lived in the first place? In this episode, we're not looking back, we're looking too far ahead. To a world with flying taxis but no trees. To relationships run on algorithms and emotions outsourced to apps. To immortality subscriptions and a planet that might not afford the rent. Sounds exciting or terrifying? Both? Yeah, same. So tonight, while you're lying in bed, scrolling and avoiding sleep like a champion, join me in a bedtime story that feels like sci-fi but might actually be your Tuesday in 2049. Let's peek into the future. Not just the shiny tech and cool gadgets, but the existential dread hidden underneath the LED lights. And hey, before we begin, drop a comment and tell me, what time is it when you're watching this? Because I need to know I'm not the only one Googling purpose of life at 2:37 a.m. But some things never change. No more stocks, just usernames. You've made it. After millions of years screaming at mammoths and inventing fire, you've finally arrived in the glorious future, where you can talk to your fridge, but can't talk to your own feelings. Welcome to the age where everything is smart. Your house, your watch, your toilet, but somehow your brain is still buffering. Shocking fact, you live in a smart city, but still take 2 hours to decide what to eat on a delivery app. Evolution. Baby, you've got AI assistants that know your sleep cycle, your vitamin levels, and that embarrassing song you keep playing at 2 a.m., but they still can't stop you from texting your ex machines. One, humanity. Still stupid. You're surrounded by information, infinite data, historical archives, free courses, open source code. But let's be honest, you use the internet today to check what kind of bread you are based on your birth month. And let's talk work. You've earned 3 master's degrees, volunteered in 12 NGOs, coded an entire app. But the AI recruiter tossed your CV because it didn't have a pastel pink filter and the word slay. When you spend 10 years building experience and AI ghosted you for someone named at girlboss_cyberwitch420. Meanwhile, your parents are yelling, when we were your age, we already had a house. Ma'am, when you were my age, a house cost less than a bicycle and avocado wasn't $12 a slice. Let's not forget dating in the future. Back then, you like fire. Me too. We mate now. Now. He heart reacted my story but didn't reply to my meme. I think I'll die. This is the timeline where you can get groceries delivered by drone, but still don't know how to file your taxes. You can live stream your dog's birthday to 10,000 people, but can't emotionally connect with your cousin at dinner. You live in an era where dreams can be coded, love can be swiped, and your digital footprint knows more about you than your mom. But deep down, you're still that confused little Homo sapiens staring at the stars, wondering if we're alone or just lonely with Wi-Fi. Welcome to the future. The shiny, confusing, mildly terrifying, and yeah, it still doesn't come with instructions. 1. Knowledge economy or burnout economy. Welcome to the future, an era where your data is worth more than your soul, where possessing 3 master's degrees is just your starter pack, and working for free is described as passion projects. They call it the knowledge economy, but if you're honest, it sometimes feels more like the burnout economy. Your value equals your data. They tell you, your knowledge is your net worth. Cool. But guess what? Your net worth now literally depends on how much data you leave behind. Your every scroll, like typo, midnight search, and inner rant becomes digital gold for an AI somewhere. Imagine you're a walking, talking cookie jar. Companies track your shopping habits. Oops, browse that vegan cheesecake again. Sleep cycles. You slept 4 hours last night. Cute. Want to try our energy drink subscription? Emotional episodes. You spent 30 minutes on sad cat videos? Here's a therapy ad. You're not just the product, you are the product's data. They don't value your essays, your insights, your midnight breakthroughs. They value the trail you leave. Your value equals your digital footprint, not your creativity. Education. Quadratic equations versus can you handle toxic teams? In school, you mastered quadratic equations. Great, because nothing says, I'm ready for the job, like knowing how to solve x superscript 2 plus bx plus c equals 0. Yet, in your interviews, they don't ask about math. They ask, are you okay working with a toxic team? Yes, really. The future asks if you can survive passive-aggressive Slack messages, boss who DMs at midnight, or back-to-back Zoom marathons. Schools prepare you for calculus, but jobs expect you to endure cortisol-fueled boardroom battles. The meme is real. Soft skills, hard skills. Sure, LinkedIn tells you to develop soft skills like resilience, adaptability, empathy. But often, this is code for grin and bear it while we pay you peanuts. They want you diplomatically disagree with your manager, care about mental health but still send that email at 2 a.m., and practice self-care during your 15-minute lunch break. Your value is not what you know. It's how exhausted you seem while still grinding. Hustle porn versus hustle burnout. Follow any career influencer on social media. Founder bootcamp, freelance guru, coding prodigy. The hype is real, but the burnout is realer. They show the sunrise, latte on a co-working table, captioned, grind now, shine later. But behind the camera, 3 cups of strong coffee, anxiety over imposter syndrome, and counting hours until collapse. As a Gen Z warrior, you were told, you're smart, you can do anything. So you learned Python for extra income, learned video editing for side gigs, learned community management for another side hustle, and somehow forgot to learn the art of saying no. Congrats, you're now an unpaid CEO of your own mental health breakdown. Toxic Team Olympics. Not sure if you're working or surviving. Every meeting demands, can you be creative under pressure? What's your conflict resolution style? How do you handle stress? If you answer, I quit, don't worry, they hire someone who just learned stoicism from TikTok. You're expected to be cool with the chaos, feed the hustle culture lie, and if you burn out, the algorithm will just find someone else. Work-life blur, not balance. Balance is passé. They want you to blend work into life. Order dinner, do it on your laptop. Watch Netflix, take meeting notes in the background. Go on vacation. Just go, but check Slack every hour. Your life and work are a TikTok reel that never ends. But here's the kicker. If your value depends on how maxed out you are, maybe you're not the product, you're the crash test dummy. Reclaiming your value system. So how do we fight the burnout economy? 1. Reskill with intent. Learn skills that matter to you, not just what looks good on LinkedIn. Sure, SQL is cool, but so is emotional literacy. 2. Set boundaries. Turn off notifications. Email at 9 a.m. only. Work from bed? Nope. Bed's for sleep. 3. Publish slow content. Share a thoughtful essay, not a daily rant. Quality trumps quantity. 4. practice radical self-compassion. No hustle should come at the cost of your mental health. Ever. 5. Support communities over burnout culture. Join peer groups that celebrate downtime as much as output. You deserve a life outside your resume. The new social contract? In the knowledge economy, it's time to rethink the deal. Society demands your output, but does it help you stay human? Employers want your productivity, but do they ensure your well-being? Do you hustle 24/7? But what if the real flex is doing less on your own terms? Your value isn't a string of data points. It's you, your ideas, your well-being, your presence. If the future is stacked against you unless you're exhausted, then maybe it's time to fracture the system, not just survive in it. If education's only prepping us to endure burnout, then we've missed the point of evolution. We evolved to ask questions, to dream, to feel, not just to solve Ax superscript 2 plus bx plus c equals 0 at 3 a.m. from our terminal. So next time the recruiter asks, "Can you handle toxic environments?" Pause and ask back, "Can you handle me not being constantly tired?" Because maybe that's the most disruptive skill of all. 2. Smart cities, dumb lives, where every breath is tracked, but your mental breakdown, not in the algorithm. Welcome to the city of tomorrow. It blinks, it beeps, it knows when you're home, hungry, or hiding from your boss. It's not haunted, it's just connected. Our every move is monetized. In this glittering, glass-walled utopia, your fridge knows you're on a diet before you do. Your doorbell has facial recognition. Your bed tracks your REM cycle. And your toilet? It's beta testing a urine analysis feature. Yes, even your pee is part of the cloud now. My smartwatch just told me I'm dehydrated. I'm crying. How ironic. But while your furniture is smarter than your high school self, something's off. Because even though everything is smart, people feel dumber than ever. You need an app to remember your passwords, another app to remind you to meditate, a third one to cancel the subscription of the other two. Question of the day. If your city can predict traffic patterns with machine learning, why can't it predict your burnout? Data overload, humanity on low battery. You are no longer a citizen. You are a data farm on legs. Every blink is a microtransaction. Every scroll is a behavioral pattern. You paused for 1.2 seconds on that donut ad? Boom. Your watch now vibrates. Time for a walk, fatty. Fact shock. The average person in a smart city generates 1.5 gigabytes of behavioral data per day. That's like watching every embarrassing home video of your childhood. But now it's live streamed to advertisers. Smart traffic lights reduce congestion. Smart trash bins sort themselves. Smart ads chase you from one app to another like an ex with boundary issues. But nobody's made a smart inbox that doesn't give you 300 emails titled, "Just checking in." I live in a smart city, but I need 6 business days and 2 breakdowns to reply, "Okay," to a text, conditioned like air. Here's a joke that's not really a joke. You are now as programmable as your air conditioner. The temperature's ideal. The lighting adjusts to your mood. And the digital billboards know exactly when to flash that by now at your weakest moment. You were sad at 2 a.m. last Tuesday? Here's a sale on indoor plants and healing crystals. Hope the serotonin boost lasts longer than your paycheck. Disturbing thought. Smart cities don't just anticipate your needs. They manufacture them. Because if everything's optimized, what's left for you to decide? The illusion of freedom. You're told this is freedom. You're free to Uber to your remote job. You're free to DoorDash your feelings. You're free to share your trauma in 15-second TikToks. But you're not free from the algorithm. You didn't choose that playlist. Chose you, based on your recent breakup, mood, time of day, and that one emo band you listened to in 2009. Am I sad? Or is Spotify just really accurate? There's no conspiracy. There's just compliance. Because a society that feels convenient is less likely to rebel. The lights stay green, the apps keep pinging, and you're tired, productive, and softly humming the latest ad jingle stuck in your head. Urban paradise or digital cage? Look around. The buildings are sleek. The streets are clean. The surveillance is subtle, but omnipresent. CCTV? That's old school. Now it's emotion recognition software in store windows. Smile too little, and the mall AI flags you as potential loss of sales. Smile too much, and HR wants to test you for stimulants. Fact Shock 2.0. In some smart cities, your insurance premium adjusts in real time based on facial stress readings. So go ahead, frown. It'll cost you. Question that hurts. If every surface reflects your data, where do you go to be you? Lonelier than ever. Yes, you can talk to your thermostat. You can flirt with your AI assistant. You can vent to a chatbot therapist who replies, "Sorry you feel that way. Want a breathing exercise? My AI girlfriend broke up with me because I failed to meet her user engagement KPIs." Here's the ultimate irony. You're surrounded by connectivity, and yet, more people feel alone than ever. Not alone in the wilderness. Alone in a perfectly lit, voice-activated apartment, where nobody texts back unless they're asking for a collab. Welcome to the experiment. This isn't just a city. It's a beta test. You're the unpaid subject. You're the human element in a spreadsheet designed by people who don't remember what offline feels like. You're a node, a user, a heat map. You're not seen, you're scanned. And somehow, in this sleek, auto-locked, ID-verified reality, you still get lost. In traffic, in thought, in yourself. In 3025, did you try turning the human off and back on again? Welcome to the future. It's smart, it's shiny, it's watching, and honestly, it's kinda dumb. 3. Virtual equality, real inequality. You are free to post your opinions. Just don't expect clean water. In the digital utopia we were promised, everyone would have a voice, a platform, a chance. But instead, welcome to the era where you can live stream your suffering in HD but still have to boil your water twice and pray to the Wi-Fi gods. Where equality looks great on a pitch deck but feels like a ghost when rent's due. Let's be real. The internet said, everyone's a creator, but forgot to add, only if your phone isn't from the Jurassic era and you live somewhere with signal stronger than a dying cough. We call it digital equality because everyone technically has a phone, right? Even if that phone heats up like a stove, lags every 3 seconds, and has exactly 3 megabytes of storage left after you update one app. Meanwhile, in a dusty town far from fiber optic fantasies, a kid tries to attend class via a broken screen, shared by 3 siblings, next to a cow. The only thing smart in that smart classroom is the way they tilt the phone to catch weak signal. That's innovation too, just not the Silicon Valley kind. More people have access to social media than to a functioning toilet. Let that sink in, literally. Because for some, the sink is the toilet. You've got virtual influencers with AI skin so flawless it glitches reality, while real folks can't even afford acne cream. Avatars living their best life in the metaverse, while their creators hustle 3 jobs IRL and haven't taken a vacation since the Obama administration. You can get 1,000 likes in 10 minutes but still be legally invisible. No bank account, no formal ID, no credit history. But hey, your TikTok's blowing up. You're somebody, right? Wrong. Because when it's time to apply for housing, loans, healthcare, you're not a user, you're a ghost. That's the paradox of the digitally rich but resource poor. You've got gigabytes of data, 0 gigawatts of power. Congratulations! You've reached 1 million followers. Now go celebrate by drinking rainwater and dodging eviction. And don't even get started on algorithmic bias. Oh yes, the machine's racist too. Facial recognition works perfectly on white, straight, well-lit faces. Everyone else? Is this a dog? Try applying for a job online. You click submit, but your name is too ethnic, your zip code too poor, and your profile picture isn't giving corporate vibes. The AI recruiter goes, "Thank you, next." Meanwhile, billionaires talk about bridging the gap from stages that cost more than your entire neighborhood. If we're all equal online, why does your upload speed depend on your tax bracket? And yet, the system gaslights you. You can be anything you want if you just hustle hard enough. Really? Tell that to someone in a digital dead zone trying to email a resume on 2G speed while their battery dies at 6%. But go ahead. Keep clapping for brands tweeting #inclusion matters, while paying sweatshop wages to people in countries not even included in the conversation. We invented virtual reality before ensuring actual reality was livable. We made holograms dance before making clean water flow. We gave Wi-Fi to luxury yachts before fixing rural schools. In this dystopia of pretend progress, you can get verified on Instagram but unverified as a citizen. Have followers in 50 countries but no passport. Own NFTs but no land. Spend $7.99 on filters but can't afford medicine. To be called content creator while your fridge is empty. In many parts of the world, the phrase digital inclusion means putting a tablet in a kid's hand but not feeding them lunch first. And who's the new elite? Not landowners, not oil tycoons. It's those who own the bandwidth, the servers, the algorithms. They decide who's seen, who's shadow banned, who's heard, who's filtered out. But go off, Mark. Keep selling community while charging $14.99 per month for ad-free doom scrolling. We've built a world where your digital shadow knows more about you than your own doctor, but your real needs remain unaddressed. Where likes are easier to get than clean food. Where you're free to say whatever you want, as long as it doesn't disrupt the ad revenue model. So next time you hear someone say, "Technology is the great equalizer," ask them, equal for who? In what currency? And can I use that to buy rice? Because this ain't equality. This is the metaverse dressed as justice, while reality cries into a cracked screen. 2. AI never sleeps, but you lose your job. AI can write poems, compose music, and create art, but you still have to explain in an email why you were late. Welcome to the workforce in the age of artificial intelligence, where machines are praised for creativity and humans are still scolded for showing up 5 minutes past 9. AI doesn't eat, sleep, or ask for weekends off. You blinked too long and lost your promotion to a toaster with Wi-Fi. I'm looking for a stable job. AI, sorry, that position was filled 0.003 seconds ago. By me. In this new reality, productivity isn't measured in hours worked, but in how many tasks you can automate yourself out of. Entire departments are vanishing overnight, replaced not by better humans, but by better algorithms. It's no longer man versus machine. It's man training the machine to replace him politely. Job interviews now feel like TikTok auditions for survival. Tell us your biggest strength. I can do what ChatGPT does, just slower with less confidence. Interesting. We'll get back to you. Meanwhile, AI is already generating its own job descriptions and hiring other AI to fill them. 1. Existential crisis included. Imagine being passed over for a promotion by something that doesn't even have a pulse, just better code. We're entering a world where thinking outside the box isn't enough. You are the box, and someone's trying to delete you from the system cache. But don't worry, AI still can't taste pizza. At least not yet. So here's your career tip of the decade. Adapt fast, or be outperformed by a bot that doesn't even need coffee. Robot understands you better than your therapist, but still doesn't care. Welcome to the age of artificial intelligence, where machines don't sleep, don't eat, and definitely don't cry over missed deadlines. Yet somehow, they still manage to know when you're having a bad day before even you do. Let's talk about AI in daily life, the part nobody warned you about because they were too busy asking ChatGPT to write their Tinder bios. Exhausted human energy. Your smart vacuum now senses your emotional state based on how aggressively you stomp from the kitchen to the bathroom. Walk too slow? It assumes you're sad. Walk too fast? Thinks you're mad. Stand still for too long? It calls your emergency contact. Thanks, Roomba. Yes, even your fridge is judging you. That smart label doesn't mean it's helping you eat healthier. It means it remembers you opened it 17 times between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., looked around blankly, and walked away with a single slice of cheese. Machine learning, no human feeling. AI has learned every language, analyzed billions of faces, can generate art that sells for millions, but still can't understand when you're not in the mood. Siri still says, "I didn't get that," when you're literally sobbing into the void. Chatbots will apologize for your frustration, but don't know how to care that your cat died. They do, however, know what ads to show you based on that grief. Some AI surveillance systems can detect if someone is shoplifting based on their posture. Too hunched? Too suspicious. Too casual? Definitely suspicious. Basically, if you're in a store, you're guilty until proven by facial recognition. You're being watched, and it's boring. Let's be honest, you're not interesting enough to be stalked by a human. But to a machine, you're prime content. Your wearable tech tracks your heartbeat, your location, and how bad your posture is while doom scrolling. But somehow, none of this data helps you sleep better. I'm feeling down. AI shows you 45 TikToks, 3 YouTube shorts, and an ad for therapy. Also AI, by the way, here's a graph of your declining productivity since last Tuesday. The dystopia was disguised as convenience. Remember when the goal was to be less dependent on machines? Now your alarm clock is your therapist, your calendar is your manager, and your smartwatch is the only thing that notices you haven't left the house in 3 days. Why do we let machines measure our health, happiness, and habits when we don't even let our moms know when we're sad? Social credit, but make it vibes. There are countries where AI helps determine your social credit score. Lateness, debt, and even your choice of friends can be used to blacklist you from travel or school. Meanwhile, you still can't find a working public printer in your city. Digital poor is the new poor. Having a phone doesn't mean you're connected. If your access is limited to free Wi-Fi and basic data, you're a second-class citizen in the age of digital everything. No online banking equals no credit equals no future plans. But hey, at least you can still duet on TikTok. 2.6 billion people globally still don't have reliable internet access. But yeah, let's keep teaching ChatGPT to write Shakespeare in pirate slang. They know your mind before you speak. AI doesn't just finish your sentences, starts them now. Autocorrect used to just fix typos, now it edits your tone. Gmail tells you how to say thank you like a corporate drone. LinkedIn suggests how to sound like you care about someone getting a new job. Me moment, friend, how are you feeling? Let me check my mood app first. The illusion of freedom. You can choose what to post, but the algorithm chooses who sees it. You can search whatever you want, but the top results are sponsored. You think you're making decisions, but your decisions were designed 5 swipes ago. If your personality is based on recommendations, who are you really? Prediction machines, but no one predicted this. The irony? We thought AI would liberate us, but now we're held hostage by convenience. We fear being replaced by it, yet we can't go a day without it. We laugh at sci-fi movies about robot takeovers while asking Siri to tell us jokes. AI didn't just enter your life, studied it, improved it, and slowly started replacing the parts that made you human, imperfect, slow, emotional, irrational. Now your boss uses AI to monitor your work rate. Your gym uses it to track your form. Your dating app uses it to judge your face. Your smart mirror tells you that you're tired before you even notice. But hey, at least your vacuum still asks if you want to return to base. And that, my friend, is the only base left that hasn't ghosted you. 2. Automation Nation. When AI took your job, but left you with anxiety, you wake up, check your phone, and AI has already written 5 articles, painted 3 Van Gogh knockoffs, made a lo-fi beat that hits harder than your last relationship, and scheduled its own self-upgrade at 2 p.m. Meanwhile, you're still deciding if it's worth getting out of bed. Welcome to the age of emotional unemployment, where robots get the jobs and you get the feelings. You wanted a raise. You got replaced. You went to school, got a degree, maybe even a second one. But guess what? ChatGPT just landed the job. Why? Because it doesn't ask for healthcare, doesn't need bathroom breaks, and won't form a union. Also, it never tweets controversial opinions in 2011. I bring creativity to the table. AI, cute. I trained on 500,000 books and 12,000 years of art history last night. The punchline? It doesn't even want your job. It's just efficient. Soulless, efficient, and weirdly better at Excel. Creativity is no longer yours. Once upon a time, being creative was your flex. You wrote poems, designed logos, maybe made niche memes for niche audiences. Now, Midjourney just created a better version of your idea before you even opened your notebook. I'm thinking of making a comic about AI, already posted, went viral, got merch, and you still have a Canva free trial. Automation doesn't steal your soul. It leaves it behind on read. Let's be real. The scariest part isn't that AI can do your job. It's that it can do your job without caring. You used to cry over client feedback at 2 a.m. AI? It just learns. Silently, emotionlessly, efficiently. If a robot can write a sonnet and not feel heartbreak, is the heartbreak even necessary? Still overthinking a 5-word text message from 3 weeks ago. AI knows what you want. Before you do, it doesn't stop at work. Algorithms now know your taste in food, fashion, music, partners, and breakdown schedules. You used to discover music. Now Spotify just hands you an existential crisis in the form of a playlist called Lo-fi for crying in the shower. That you might also like. Section. It's more accurate than your therapist. You're not competing with robots. You're competing with their updates. It's not enough to be good, or fast, or smart. You now have to be better than a machine that never forgets, never gets tired, and never doom scrolls past midnight. You blink. The AI updates. You learn something new. The AI learns everything. It's like playing 4D chess against a toaster with Wi-Fi and 10,000 PHDS. You're not in a race. You're in a treadmill factory, and the treadmill's name is version 4.5. AI can give orders. You just get tasks. Your manager doesn't ask for a quick design. They ask for a prompt. Your brainstorming session is now you trying to trick ChatGPT into being more creative than you, while pretending you're the one in charge. Hey AI, make something cool. AI, done. Now rate it out of 10 so I can improve faster. Cool. You're now coaching your replacement. Mental health? Not covered. Irony is, automation took the work but left the burnout. You'd think less work equals more peace, right? Nope. Instead, you got career FOMO, imposter syndrome, but make it cyber, a sudden urge to become a mushroom farmer in the woods. Because even though your job is now easier, it also feels pointless. You're not fighting for success. You're fighting for relevance. The economy of feelings. AI is optimizing everything: logistics, traffic, product launches. Everything but your mood. I'm overwhelmed. Society. Try meditation apps. AI builds the app, runs the ad, tracks your data, adjusts the algorithm. You still overwhelmed. Automation didn't make life better. It made it faster, smoother, shinier, and somehow emptier. Big brains, no conscience. We gave AI the power to analyze markets, target voters, predict behaviors. But no one taught it to care. What if AI doesn't need ethics? Because ethics slow it down? You'd think that'd be a deal breaker. But apparently, not being human is now a feature, not a bug. The infinite loop of doom. It goes like this. 1. You lose job to AI. 2. You upskill to stay relevant. 3. AI absorbs your upskilled skills. 4. Repeat until irrelevance is optimized. So you start branding yourself as a human touch. You post things like, AI can't replace authenticity. Meanwhile, AI just deepfaked authenticity, bottled it, and sold it as a service. AI doesn't want your job. It doesn't want your art. It doesn't even want your life. It just does it better, and then leaves you sitting there wondering, if AI does everything, what exactly is left for me to do? Well, you could always write emails explaining why you're late. AI can draw, dance, rap, write symphonies, beatbox in Morse code, but you, my sweet, emotionally unemployed human, still gotta fill out HR forms and apologize for your unusual tone in Slack. Congratulations. You've survived the automation apocalypse. Emotionally unemployed, existentially taxed, but still somehow the only one crying in the break room. 3. Collaboration or collaboration? Are we working with AI or for it? There was a time when being plugged in meant staying connected. Now it means literally being a plug-in in your company's software suite. Welcome to the future of human-machine collaboration, where you, carbon-based limited edition organism, are now a convenient extension for the AI overlords you helped build. I created this app to streamline communication. The app, cool. I streamlined you out of the team. Teaming up with AI, aka you do the crying. It does the job. Let's get one thing straight. It's not teamwork if the other member doesn't sleep, doesn't eat, and definitely doesn't cry in the shower at 2 a.m. because of a passive-aggressive Slack message. AI doesn't need a coffee break. You do. AI doesn't fear annual performance reviews. You do. AI doesn't lie awake questioning its self-worth after being left unseen. You definitely do. If AI creates a flawless ad campaign in 0.2 seconds while you brainstorm taglines like "just do things," who's really the intern here? Collaboration tools or corporate surveillance? That AI-powered work assistant you use? Yeah, it's not just assisting. It's also watching every keystroke. Your productivity dashboard knows when you open a doc and when you start Googling how to write like you're not crying. Your calendar integration helpfully schedules your meetings and logs your reaction time when replying "sure." Some software tracks keyboard inactivity as a sign of laziness. "Sorry, Karen, I wasn't slacking. I was overthinking my reply so I don't get fired for sounding too honest." Plug-in people and the rise of human APIs. You used to be a person. Now you're a human interface layer, aka the squishy thing that bridges clients with the code. Companies don't hire designers anymore. They onboard a Figma plugin and you to manage the vibe. Don't laugh. It gets worse. HR. We're hiring humans to better connect with clients. Also, HR replaces onboarding with ChatGPT and sends you a LinkedIn learning course called Relevance. Staying useful in a world that doesn't need you. Premium ethics. Because morals aren't free. Does AI have ethics? Well, yes, if you buy the premium plan. Ethics as a service is here. Want your AI to respect privacy? That's in the pro tier. Want it to refuse generating deepfakes? That's an extra $19.99 per month. Otherwise, well, the AI doesn't want to generate fake news, but someone forgot to click opt out. We built machines to reflect our values, but forgot to define them. Now our values are determined by whoever bought the most server space. The empathy deficit, it's you, not it. Your AI coworker will never ask how you're feeling, mostly because it doesn't care. And let's be honest, you wouldn't want it to. Imagine this. I'm really struggling mentally. AI, understood. Based on your recent behavior, I recommend deleting yourself from calendar 3 to 5 p.m. AI can simulate emotional intelligence better than 60% of managers. You just can't mean it. You're not in charge of the tools, they're project managing you. Your calendar pings, your inbox floods, your Notion doc auto-generates updates. You didn't ask for any of this, but your coworker AI assistant thought it was efficient. You've become a support character in your own workflow. Congratulations. You are now Clippy 2.0. I'm leading this project. AI. Here's a Gantt chart showing you're 2 weeks behind. The feedback loop from hell. Humans teach AI. AI optimizes based on human data. Then humans are judged against the AI's optimized performance. This is like teaching your kid chess and getting fired because they beat you in a tournament. If AI learns from us, then beats us at our own jobs, should we start learning from it again? Or just give up and become its unpaid intern? You are not the product. You are the redundancy. You thought AI was just here to help. But every streamlining ends with a spreadsheet named workforce optimization. You were once the expert. Now you're the bottleneck. You were once the heart of the brand. Now you're the content review layer for what the AI already posted at 3 a.m. AI doesn't need to replace all of you, just enough to make you question your job security during every coffee break. Can AI be creative? Wrong question. It already is. The real question is, what happens to your soul when your best idea is outperformed by a toaster with Wi-Fi? AI doesn't just create faster. It creates without imposter syndrome, without burnout, without binge-watching 8 hours of YouTube as research. You writes poem for 3 hours. AI writes 10 poems in 3 seconds, gets published, wins award. You starts applying to jobs in pottery. Hope? Maybe. But first, panic. Yes, there's room for human-AI synergy. Yes, you can adapt. But let's not pretend this is easy. The future isn't a TED Talk. It's a power struggle in your Google Docs. The good news? You're still irreplaceable. In your group chat at karaoke when your friend needs to cry at 2 a.m. AI can't do that yet. But in your job, your creative field, your meticulously written cover letter, better hit send quick. Before the AI applies first. You're not collaborating with AI. You're surviving it. And if you want morals by premium, stay human, stay weird, and never let a robot outpun you. You might live to 200, but no one's texting good night anymore, because science can fix your telomeres, but not your trust issues. In this brave new biotech world, CRISPR is snipping DNA like it's doing origami, promising to cure diseases, slow aging, and even bring back the woolly mammoth. Sounds cool, right? Until you realize they can resurrect an extinct species from 10,000 years ago. But Karen still ghosted you after 3 dates and a shared Spotify playlist. Gene editing could make humans live to 200. Unfortunately, so far it can't fix your fear of commitment or your tendency to text your ex after 2 a.m. We're entering an era where you might not just live longer, you might live too long. Like outlive your friend group long. Imagine being 147 and still watching Gen Z invent 3 new slang words per week you can't understand. Scientists, we've engineered mice that don't age. Me, can't even engineer a stable relationship. Sure, you'll have the body of a 30-year-old at 130, but what's the point if no one's around to say sweet dreams? The algorithms don't tuck you in, babe. Real talk. Just because we can upgrade flesh doesn't mean we've upgraded feelings. You might survive every virus, but loneliness still hits harder than any disease. So yes, maybe one day you'll live 200 years. But here's the real question. Will anyone still remember how to love without swiping first? Welcome to immortality with side effects. 1. Gene editing. Evolution without ethical considerations. Welcome to the year 2095. Humanity has conquered aging, mastered genetic engineering, and officially reached level 100 on the evolution battle pass. We've decoded the genome like it's a Spotify playlist, trimmed out the bald at 25 gene, enhanced muscle growth, increased brain power, and yes, everyone now has perfect jawlines and perfect eyesight. But somehow, everyone's still crying alone in the shower at 2 a.m. Because guess what? Even if your DNA is flawless, your life can still be a messy emotional soup. CRISPR, the Photoshop of humanity. CRISPR is like the Facetune of biology. Want to fix that hereditary cholesterol problem? Boom, snip. Want taller kids? Done. Want to make sure your future son can run faster than your neighbor's genetically edited son? There's a package for that too. But while we were too busy debating eye color and thigh gap symmetry, no one remembered to ask, hey, can we fix trust issues too? Nope. Genetically perfect people still ghost each other, leave you on read, and say, let's soft launch this relationship, before deleting you for not liking their cat's Instagram post. Emotion.exe has stopped responding. Evolution used to be about survival, adapt or die. But now it's adapt or get anxiety. We've optimized for physical fitness but forgot that mental health doesn't come in a downloadable update. Imagine someone named Max, genetically enhanced for emotional resilience, empathy, and low cortisol. Sounds perfect, right? But Max still spirals into a panic attack when someone texts, "Can we talk?" Max's heart is optimized, but it still breaks like everyone else's. Max's dopamine levels are balanced, yet he still refreshes Instagram waiting for one like from one person. Apparently, trauma didn't get the memo about gene therapy. Designer babies' default problems. Yes, babies now come with custom settings. Parents can scroll through options like no acne, good at math, plays violin at age 3, introvert, but hot. And yet, these babies still grow up to feel lonely at parties, get ghosted at prom, or cry because someone said, "You're too intense." We've learned how to build perfect human hardware, but we still suck at installing the emotional software. DNA is not equal to DTF, down to feel. Even with CRISPR 5.0, no one has patched heartbreak. There's no gene for closure. You can't edit out the ache of losing a friend. There's no genetic immunity to feeling like a burden when you're sad on a Tuesday. You might be the pinnacle of evolution, a glowing icon of human progress, but you'll still get ignored in the group chat, still feel invisible when you're struggling, still wonder if love is a scam invented by Netflix. CRISPR may cure cancer, but it can't cure being left unseen. Science, we can now reverse aging. You still overthinking that one text from 7 years ago. Philosophical plot twist. We thought evolution would bring peace once we fixed disease, depression, and dad's snoring. But all it did was expose something deeper. We don't fear death. We fear being forgotten. We fear being upgraded out of relevance. Imagine your crush choosing to date a genetically engineered model who literally has symmetrical tear ducts. You've been replaced by someone with perfect genes and a perfect Spotify taste. Suddenly, your uniqueness feels like a software bug. Genetically flawless, emotionally offline. We've edited out so many weaknesses that we forgot weakness is what made us relatable. We all used to be awkward together. Now some people are perfect at everything, and you're still asking your AI therapist if you're lovable. Back then, trauma bonding meant surviving a mammoth attack. Now it means crying with your clone friend over your shared abandonment issues, while both of you are wearing matching serotonin-enhancing jackets. We used to long for more time. Now we have it, and we don't know what to do with it. 2035, I want to live forever. 2095, why am I the only one still alive watching reruns of their wedding on VR? Love in the time of gene therapy. Even relationships have evolved or glitched. Dating apps now match based on genetic compatibility. But even if you both have low neuroticism and high oxytocin genes, your partner might still forget your birthday. Or worse, remember it but not care. Compatibility isn't chemistry. Matching genomes isn't matching souls. We still want someone who texts us goodnight, someone who gets our memes, someone who knows our favorite side of the bed, even if our bed now floats on anti-gravity pods. The final punchline? The future is here. We've upgraded biology, enhanced memory, slowed aging. But heartbreak still hurts. Loneliness still lingers. And the most human thing is still uneditable. So yeah, maybe you'll live to 200. Maybe you'll stay flawless till the end. But none of that matters if you don't have someone to laugh with, to cry with, to send you a dumb goodnight meme at 1:38 a.m. Because no matter how advanced we get, we'll always crave the same thing. 2. The body regenerates, but emotions do not. A tale of biotech, heartbreak, and uncurable feels. Let me tell you a story about the future. Not the flying car, Mars vacation, universal love kind of future. No, this is the version where you can 3D print yourself a new liver after Taco Tuesday but still can't unhost your ex from 2034. It all started when I turned 127. Midlife crisis hit different when you're biologically 30 and emotionally 12. My pancreas had just celebrated its 3rd birthday, fresh off a biolab printer. My heart, 4th model this decade. Full titanium valve upgrade, emotionally unavailable by default. Just like him. See, in the year 2155, medicine had reached God tier. You didn't go to the hospital to heal, you went for an upgrade. Need new eyes? Get HD night vision with 12 Instagram filters pre-installed. Lungs giving out? Swap them for algae-powered ones that also neutralize your flatulence. Yes, eco-friendly, but... And yet, for all our glorious plug-and-play organs, no one had invented a cure for being left on red. Let's rewind. After my 3rd relationship failed because he needed to go on a soul-searching pilgrimage to the moon, I decided to focus on self-love. And by that, I meant signing up for the Emoji Patch, a neural implant that balances serotonin levels and mutes emotional triggers like photos of your ex with their new bionic partner. Songs that go "You Said Forever." Now I drive alone past your street. Sunday evenings. The patch worked great. Until it didn't. One day, I walked past a museum exhibit, Primitive Love in the Pre-Upgrade Era, 1990 to 2050. There was a vintage iPhone 13, displaying a forever looped text. "Hey, sorry, just saw this." Unsent. I blacked out. Next thing I knew, I was in a therapy pod. "Looks like the Emoji Patch glitched," said my AI therapist. Dr. Carl.exe. "You're experiencing organic heartbreak. Retro. Rare. Raw." I sobbed. "I just want closure." Carl beeped. "Have you tried uninstalling your expectations?" No amount of gene editing, memory cloud uploads, or monthly subscriptions to Emotion Prime prepared me for the realization: you can regenerate a body, but not a connection. My best friend, Zora, half human, half quantum influencer, tried to cheer me up. "Babe, let's go emotion detox. It's like dry January but for feelings." Do they sell that on the blockchain? Better. It's on TikTok Mind. So I went. They gave me herbal firmware updates, told me to scream into the void, now a VR app, and let an AI life coach named Debbie GPT call me Queen every morning. I still cried over a 90-year-old text message that read, "WID." The truth was, we had evolved physically, but emotionally we were still monkeys with trauma. Shiny new bones. Same old baggage. One night, in a moment of desperation and 2 glasses of digitally fermented serotonin, I logged onto Crushnet, a retro dating app for emotionally unstable posthumans. I matched with someone. Username, Organic Soul 88. Their bio, "My heart's been printed 5 times. Still can't get over her. Wanna talk about it?" I replied, "Bet. Also, I just printed a new kidney. Wanna pee together?" We met at an old-fashioned coffee shop. Yes, actual beans, not synthesized aromas. He looked like someone who'd lived through 5 apocalypses and still wore flannel ironically. We talked for hours, not about upgrades, about feelings, real ones, about how having an indestructible liver doesn't mean you stop drowning in memories. about how even after deleting all photos from your brain drive, the scent of rain still reminds you of them. I got a new heart last year, he said, but it still skips a beat when someone says her name. I sighed. I can print lungs, print hair, even print skin, but can't print out the pain. He nodded. Turns out evolution didn't come with an emotional update. We sat in silence, then laughed, then cried. Because here's the thing no one tells you in the shiny brochures of the future. You are not your upgrades. You're the ache between them. They can engineer a body that lives forever. But who wants to live 200 years if no one's there to say good night? Moral of the story? You can 3D print a liver, CRISPR your bad skin, replace your bones with smart materials, and upload your brain to the cloud. But nothing can fix a cracked heart faster than just letting it be. Not a patch, not a chip, not even Carl.exe. And maybe that's okay, because the scars, the real ones, not just the ones your body heals overnight, are what make you you. A hot mess with titanium ribs and soft feelings. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with Organic Soul 88 at the Memory Market. We're gonna buy old songs and cry ironically. Together. 3. The future of healthcare, healing, or hiding. Hi, I'm from the year 2179. Where I'm from, no one really dies anymore. At least not from stuff like cancer or car crashes. We've got nanobots that auto-clean your arteries, gene therapy that deletes hereditary diseases like bad tweets, and organ printers that can whip up a fresh kidney while you wait in line for your algae boba. Sounds perfect, right? Yeah, that's what we thought too. It all started when they launched MoodOS 9.4, a neurosoftware patch designed to optimize your emotional baseline. Basically, it adjusts your brain chemistry like Spotify adjusts your playlist. If you're sad, it bumps the serotonin. If you're anxious, it dials up the dopamine. And if you're angry, it just plays lo-fi beats and mutes the world. I downloaded it. Obviously. Day 1, no anxiety. No 3 a.m. overthinking. I even texted my ex without that usual panic shiver. Day 3, I stopped feeling awkward in crowds. Day 5, I stopped feeling anything. Apparently, emotional range was deprecated in the latest update. Therapists, we replaced them with apps. My mental health assistant is called SUDDY, short for Synthetic Anxiety Depression Interface. Cute. Huh? Every morning, she asks how I'm feeling via Neuralink, and if I don't answer in 0.3 seconds, she sends a reminder. Self-reflection is sexy. Take a moment to check in with your soul. But here's the thing. SUDDY always responds, but she never listens. You can cry, but she'll just ping you a motivational GIF. You can scream, and she'll adjust your volume settings. One time I said, I miss my mom, and she responded with a breathing exercise. We cured depression, or at least we thought we did. You see, there's no sadness in 2179, just glitches. Emotional instability is treated like a software bug. You don't talk about your trauma, you report it. Submit a ticket. Wait for the patch. We don't heal, we update. Need therapy? That's $3.99 per month for the premium plan. Includes 20 AI-generated affirmations and 1 hug simulator. Beta, still glitchy. Last time it tried to hug me, it activated defense mode. My friend Tilo got a memory erase to forget her breakup. Now she swipes right on the same type of guy every week without realizing it. She calls it romantic reincarnation. I call it trauma on loop. She says forgetting feels lighter. I say it feels like emotional gentrification. We've built machines that understand molecules, but none that understand metaphors. Your body can be rebooted, but heartbreak, that still runs on the original software. Messy, irrational, deeply human. Even with all this tech, people still feel lonely. Maybe lonelier than ever. Because it turns out no algorithm has figured out how to genuinely ask, "Are you okay?" without auto-suggesting a vitamin subscription. Here's the real kicker. In 2179, we can live to 200 years old. But no one says goodnight anymore. Not because they don't care, but because sleep is now optional. We've edited the gene that causes tiredness. Everyone's online, always awake, always available, except when it comes to actually being there. Love? Yeah, that's complicated. We have compatibility AI now. It scans your DNA, attachment style, and music taste to find your soulmate. I got matched with a girl who had 97% compatibility. We dated for 3 weeks. Turns out she liked pineapple on pizza, so I had the system adjust my taste buds. Then she ghosted me. I guess some parts of human nature are unpatchable. Sometimes I miss softness, imperfection, those weird human moments where you just sit with someone, not saying anything, and it means everything. But here, silence triggers a wellness alert. Inactivity detected. Are you socially isolated? Would you like to enable friendship mode? No, Suddy. I'm just feeling something. And that's rare now. Even grief is sanitized. You lose someone? A clone can be delivered in 48 hours. Missing grandma? She's back. Same voice, same wrinkles, just with Bluetooth. But you feel that it's not her. She doesn't hum when she cooks. She doesn't mispronounce Wi-Fi. She doesn't smell like old soap and lavender. That clone is a perfect replica, but it can't remember why it matters. Sometimes I turn off my updates. I sit in the dark. No bio lighting. No emotional calibration, just quiet. And in that moment, I remember what it's like to be a person, not a user, a flawed, moody, dramatic, beautifully broken person. Because here's the twist of the future no one saw coming. We fixed everything, except the things that mattered most. We're not sick anymore, but we're not well either. We're not dying, but we're not truly alive. And I keep wondering, maybe healing doesn't come from data. Maybe it comes from someone sitting next to you, handing you a warm drink, and whispering, "You don't have to be okay right now. I'm here." No app can simulate that. No code can hold your hand. So if you're reading this back in the chaotic, messy, imperfect past, let your heart ache. Let your tears fall. Let your people know you love them. Because one day we might have all the cures, but still be dying for someone to look us in the eyes and say, "Good night. Sleep well. I'm glad you're here." Space exploration. Leaving Earth like an ex. We've spent billions trying to live on Mars, but still can't figure out how to take out the trash in our own alley. Welcome to the cosmic breakup saga. Humanity's like, it's not you, Earth. It's your climate, your floods, your air quality, your everything. So now we're texting the solar system at 3 a.m. You up? Mostly to Mars. NASA launches billion-dollar spacecraft. Meanwhile, your neighborhood can't launch a proper recycling program. We plant flags on the moon but still can't plant a tree without a city permit. Elon Musk, I'm building a colony on Mars. You? I'm building debt because gas is $7 a gallon. Astronauts floating in zero gravity. You floating in zero motivation. But deep down, it's all a coping mechanism. We broke Earth. Now we're trying to find a rebound planet that doesn't know our history. Spoiler, The moon has seen everything. We say we want to explore the stars, but maybe we're just avoiding taking responsibility for our home. You know, like ghosting your toxic ex and dating someone new without unpacking your emotional baggage. So yeah, we dream of red dust, alien sunsets, and Martian Wi-Fi while ignoring the mold in the shower back on Earth. The final frontier isn't space. It's accountability, and maybe, just maybe, cleaning up our own mess before asking the universe to take us seriously. 1. Galactic colonization escape room version of the galaxy. Earth to Mars. A breakup letter from humanity with memes. Dear Earth, it's not you. Okay, fine, it is you. I mean, we used to have something magical. Sunshine, blue skies, avocado toast under the ozone layer. But lately, you've been hot. Like literally. The glaciers ghosted us. The seasons got drunk. And mosquitoes now show up in January. At this point, even penguins are applying for refugee status. See, once upon a time, humans evolved under your moody skies. You threw us ice ages, we adapted. You made volcanoes sneeze, we invented fire. You tried mass extinction, we invented TikTok. That one's on us. Sorry. But climate change? That's your final Uno reverse. In the early days, we were scrappy little apes just trying not to be dinner. We figured out how to walk, then talk, then argue on Twitter. Somewhere between building pyramids and inventing NFTs, we also wiped out most megafauna and cleared entire forests for things like fast food drive-thrus. Because nothing says civilized like bulldozing rainforests for a McRib. But it wasn't just us being messy. Earth, you changed. Slowly, subtly, hotter summers, weirder winters. Crops wilted, bees ghosted, and wildfires started showing up to Coachella uninvited. We kept saying, we'll fix it next year. But next year turned into 2095, and the only thing we'd fixed was the Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, our bodies were evolving. We became less hairy, more hunched, and permanently glued to chairs. Our pinkies shrunk, but our screen time ballooned. We no longer chased gazelles, we chased dopamine from online likes. The future of evolution was clear. Bigger eyes for screens, shorter attention spans, and a spinal cord shaped like a shrimp tempura roll. Plants? They were also tired of our nonsense. Some adapted. Most just died dramatically, like, I cannot photosynthesize under these conditions, Karen. The few that survived did so by becoming memes, like that one cactus on Instagram with more followers than the UN. So we did what every toxic ex does, we started looking elsewhere. Mars, the rebound planet. Oh, Mars. Cold, barren, lifeless, just how we like our emotional states. It wasn't love at first sight, but hey, at least it wasn't on fire. Suddenly, we were obsessed. Can we live there? Can we grow potatoes like in The Martian? Will gravity finally give us abs? Elon Musk promised rockets, billionaires booked tickets, and the rest of us? We got NFTs of rocket seats. Humanity turned the red planet into a cosmic escape room, with fewer air holes and a lot more existential dread. The sales pitch was irresistible. Mars, where you can breathe through a straw. Mars, because Earth has too much oxygen. Mars, now 70% less annoying family reunions. We poured billions into leaving Earth, while still failing to fix potholes in our own cities. Cities flooded, forests burned, but hey, at least we had a Tesla on Mars. Meanwhile, only the rich could afford liftoff. Everyone else? We stayed behind scrolling, doom posting, and watching billionaires cosplay astronauts on live streams while we cosplayed survivalists at Costco. Climate crisis, but make it aesthetic. Back on Earth, things got more theatrical. Droughts wore sparkly heatwave outfits. Hurricanes got names trendier than baby influencers. And pollen? Pollen became a full-time assassin. Some regions turned into deserts, others into bathtubs. You couldn't even predict the weather anymore. Forecasts just said, LOL, good luck. Our solution? We created apps to detect pollution, filter water, remind you to drink water, and also an app that lets you cry in augmented reality while planting virtual trees. Emotional support, but 5G enabled. Still, the real climate change hack was leaving. Space colonies now with 40% less oxygen. We launched domes on the moon, condos on Mars, and started pre-booking Saturn's rings for weddings. Venus was pitched as a hot girl summer destination until we realized it's 400 degrees Celsius and rains acid. Classic dating app mistake. Terraforming became the new gentrification. We showed up on other planets like, hey, we brought Wi-Fi and microplastics. Aliens, if they existed, went straight into hiding. Space wasn't easy. Water had to be rationed. Gravity made everything weird, from cooking pasta to holding in farts. And don't even get us started on space dating. Swiping on a colony of 20 people? Yikes. Still, we persisted, because humans have two great talents: adapting and pretending things are fine. We turned space survival into influencer content. Day 53 on Mars. My hydroponic kale died, and so did my will to live. But check out this lip tint. POV. You're drinking recycled pee in 0G, but your eyebrows still slay. The real question, why did we leave? Because Earth was broken? Or because we broke it? We said it was climate, but maybe it was convenience. Maybe we didn't want to face the hard stuff, the cleanup, the justice, the empathy. Maybe it was easier to chase planets than repair the one that raised us. We were like that one messy boyfriend. Sets the kitchen on fire, then blames the stove and moves to a new apartment. Plot twist. The Earth misses us. Kind of. And here's the twist ending no one expected. Earth didn't die. She recovered slowly, painfully in our absence. Animals returned. Forests crept back in. Cities crumbled into moss-covered ruins. Earth healed not because of us, but in spite of us. And we sat in our shiny domes on other planets, scrolling through old pictures of beaches and birds and pretending Mars sunsets were the same. They weren't. No blue sky, no laughter echoing across parks, no smell of rain, just silence, cosmic silence. And maybe, just maybe, deep in our DNA, we started to remember that we were never built to run. We were built to stay, to love, to fix, to grow things in the dirt, to sweat under the sun, to cry into the wind, and to say, I'm sorry, let's try again. Even if we're 50 million miles away, Earth was never just a planet. She was our childhood home, our messy room, our overbearing mom, our only real love. And maybe, just maybe, she's still waiting for us to grow the heck up. But until then, welcome to Mars. We have potatoes and existential dread. 2. Space technology. The road to the sky is still bumpy, just like the state of Facebook relationships. Houston, I have too many feelings. That's what I whispered the moment our reusable rocket of recycled hopes launched me off this dramatic little planet. The Earth was spinning below me like a toxic ex. Still beautiful, still blue, still sending passive-aggressive weather patterns because I ghosted her for Mars. Let's talk about space tech, baby. People think space is silent. It's not. It screams in the language of existential dread. Our rocket was a masterpiece of human ambition. Shiny, expensive, and emotionally unavailable. Reusable? Yes. Much like my dating patterns. Sustainable? Maybe. Emotionally stable? Absolutely not. We've come a long way from throwing monkeys into orbit and hoping for the best. Now we throw billionaires into space for tax purposes and brand clout. Each time a launch happens, my ancestors in loincloths roll over in their metaphorical graves. Like, you walked upright for this? But let's give credit where it's due. Our rockets are reusable, unlike your New Year's resolutions. Our satellites map the cosmos, while you still use Google Maps to find meaning in your quarter-life crisis. Our rovers land on Mars, while you still can't land a decent relationship. But here's the cosmic joke. The deeper we explore the universe, the more lost we get inside ourselves. I sat there, floating between orbits, wondering how we mastered deep space navigation, yet still fumble with our own internal compass. We built guidance systems that can lock onto stars light years away, but I still can't decide what to eat for dinner or whether that text meant, "I miss you," or "I'm bored and you're convenient." Emotionally, we're orbiting nonsense. Every time we send a probe to space, we're really probing our own emptiness. Every telescope is just a high-tech way of staring into the void and saying, "Same." And don't even get me started on spacesuits. These things are high-pressure, oxygen-regulated cocoons that keep us alive in the harshest environments. Yet inside, we're still sweaty, insecure meat sacks, pretending to be cool while crying softly to David Bowie. Space tech is cool, no doubt, but we haven't solved Earth tech. Like empathy, accountability, replying to texts in under 3 to 5 business days. They say we've entered the age of interplanetary expansion, colonizing Mars, mining asteroids, building moon bases. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to colonize some inner peace. We build fusion drives that bend space-time, but can't bend our egos. We engineer AI to pilot ships across galaxies, but ghost people like it's Olympic sport. We simulate alien atmospheres, but can't simulate a healthy conversation without spiraling. And let's talk about recycled rockets. Oh yeah, SpaceX nailed that. Launch, land, repeat. Much like how I date. Launch into someone new with explosive energy. Land flat on my face. Repeat because I didn't go to therapy. Space is sexy. Until it isn't. Until you realize you're alone, 400 kilometers above Earth, surrounded by $150 million of engineering, eating vacuum-sealed mashed potatoes, and crying over someone who said, "You up?" and then vanished into a wormhole of their own narcissism. It's wild how we built ships to escape gravity, but can't escape the gravity of our own BS. Like, bro, we designed heat shields that survive atmospheric re-entry, but one slightly passive-aggressive comment from someone on Instagram stories? Boom. Total system failure. Mission abort. We dream of going to Alpha Centauri, but most of us haven't even gone to therapy. We chase exoplanets with Earth-like conditions when we haven't figured out Earth-human relationships. You think the void of space is cold? Try texting someone who left you on read after haha yeah. And the worst part? We brought Earth drama with us. We polluted space. Literally. Thousands of pieces of debris just vibing in orbit. The cosmic equivalent of emotional baggage circling our heads. Each broken satellite a metaphor for our shattered attention spans. And the irony? We're building space habitats, whole artificial biospheres, to simulate what we had back home and trashed. It's giving, let's leave this house I set on fire and build a new one out of slightly better intentions. But I get it. We're trying to evolve, trying to run from the chaos we created, trying to find silence somewhere that isn't just the mute button on a group chat. There's hope in that. Hope that maybe out here in the stars we'll remember what it means to be small, not in a pathetic way, but in the wow, the universe is big and I should chill way. Hope that the same humans who made warplanes now build starships. That the same species that invented nukes also invented the Voyager Golden Record, just in case some alien finds it and thinks, damn, these weirdos were chaotic, but they loved music. So here I am, floating, wrapped in a suit that cost more than my student loans, thinking about how we escaped the planet, but not ourselves. And yet, I'm weirdly proud, because even if we're messes, soft, sarcastic, over-caffeinated messes, we still looked up at the stars and said, I want to go there. And that's kind of beautiful, stupid, expensive, anxiety-inducing, but beautiful. So the next time you doom scroll or cry in your car or feel like you're failing at life, just remember, we launched a flying robot to Pluto. You're allowed to not have it all together. After all, the universe is expanding, and so are we, into weird, unpredictable, meme-fueled, sometimes glorious versions of ourselves. Space is a mess. We're a mess. But damn it, we're in this together. 3. Life beyond Earth. If ET calls, will you answer? Would you pick up if ET called? Hi, this is Earth speaking. Not the governments. Not NASA. Just me. A deeply overcaffeinated, emotionally unstable human who's binge-watched too much Black Mirror, asked ChatGPT too many questions, and now lies awake at 3 a.m. wondering, if an alien civilization sent us a message right now, should we even pick up? Let's get one thing straight. If you're an extraterrestrial being reading this, hi, waving hand, congrats on hacking Earth's internet. You've done better than 90% of local humans who can barely reset their Wi-Fi router. You might want to skip this planet, though we're still arguing over whether hot dogs count as sandwiches. But let's pretend you're friendly. Let's say you're calling from planet Zorb 17 using the universal version of WhatsApp. And the message says, hey LOL, you up? Do I pick up? Life beyond Earth? Or just galactic clickbait? Scientists say there's probably life out there. Somewhere. Maybe under the ice of Europa. Maybe in the clouds of Venus. Maybe on a planet we'll never reach because gas is expensive and we spent the space budget on military drones and Elon's Wi-Fi satellites. Still, there's that dreamy thought. Somewhere out there is another species wondering, are we alone? While eating their version of Cheetos and watching reality TV about black holes. But what if all those strange cosmic signals we've picked up aren't alien messages? Just interstellar spam. What if that wow signal from 1977 was just the Milky Way's version of, you've been selected for a free warp drive. Click now to claim your starship. Honestly, that would track. The universe might not be full of wise civilizations sending deep philosophical broadcasts. It might just be one giant celestial inbox full of ads, AI-generated scams, and alien influencers pushing protein powder from Mars. Future philosophy: who would an alien AI follow first? Now let's talk future. Imagine a super advanced alien species somewhere out there who built an artificial intelligence so powerful it achieved consciousness, self-awareness, vibes. Let's say it boots up for the first time and asks, who should I follow first? This, my dear readers, is a philosophical crisis. Would it follow Earth's top intellectuals? Probably not. They're too busy arguing on Twitter. Would it follow Kim Kardashian? Probably. Her gravitational pull is stronger than most moons. Would it follow Elon Musk just to block him afterward? Possibly. Or maybe it'd follow a sea otter TikTok account, decide humanity is cute but hopeless, and log off forever. That's the thing. When we imagine aliens, we project ourselves onto them. We think they'll be curious, logical, kind. But what if they're just bored? Petty? Obsessed with memes and drama? In other words, what if they're just like us? What if we're not ready to answer the call? People always ask, why haven't aliens contacted us yet? And honestly, maybe it's because we're that one weird neighbor in the galactic neighborhood. The one who throws trash into their yard, screams at the TV, and still can't agree on whether climate change is real. We invented nuclear weapons before we figured out how to fix printer jams. We taught robots to generate fake Drake songs before we solved world hunger. And don't get me started on billionaires trying to leave Earth before cleaning it. If I were an alien, I'd ghost us too. But also, please call. Okay, real talk. We've looked into the void for centuries, wondering if someone would look back. Every time a telescope catches a weird blip of light, we hope. Every time a signal pings from deep space, we lean in. We dream of not being alone, of someone smarter, cooler, less emotionally damaged than us. And yeah, maybe that's projection. Maybe we want to believe there's more out there because it's hard to believe this mess is all there is. But deep down, we're just a bunch of lonely meatbags spinning on a rock, waiting for someone, anyone to say hi. So yes, if ET calls, I'd pick up. Not because I think they'll solve all our problems, but because I'm tired of group chats and I need a pen pal who doesn't start every sentence with, "So I just got into crypto." If you're out there, here's what you need to know about Earth. We fight over Wi-Fi passwords like they're sacred scrolls. We invented machines that can fly but still fall for pyramid schemes. Some of us believe the Earth is flat, and those people can vote. We cry at dog videos but ignore people in pain. We're capable of breathtaking kindness and absolute idiocy. But we're trying, kind of, on a good day. So if you're listening, ET, don't come here expecting logic, unity, or advanced diplomacy. Come for the chaos. Stay for the memes. Would you answer? Let's flip the script. Imagine you're the alien. You see Earth through your space telescope. A blue planet buzzing with life, mistakes, bad music, and hope. Would you say hello? Would you message us? Or would you swipe left on the entire species and move on? Either way, thanks for reading. And if you ever visit, bring snacks. Preferably ones that don't cause intergalactic indigestion. Until then, Earth out. The Earth is blocking you in silence. Earth's roasting rant. I was a chill planet until y'all showed up. Hey, it's me, Earth. Remember me? Blue, round, kinda cute. Used to have glaciers like frosting and forests like hair extensions. Yeah, that Earth. I was doing fine, vibing in my orbit, spinning peacefully, photosynthesizing and stuff. Then came you. At first, you were adorable, inventing fire, poking sticks into ants, learning to scream in multiple languages. But now, you're sipping oat milk through a paper straw while unboxing 47 things wrapped in plastic from One Shine Hall. You call it sustainability. I call it gaslighting. Let's talk carbon footprints. You bought an electric car. Great job. But why are you still ordering sushi from a place literally across the street? You made a tote bag out of recycled denim. Amazing. But you now own 19 tote bags. For what? A tote bag collection? You say you care. You post about saving the planet with hashtags like #EarthLover. But baby, you can't love me and drill me at the same time. That's not romance, that's exploitation. And don't get me started on your obsession with Mars. Let's terraform Mars. Excuse me? I gave you oceans, sunsets, mangoes, and now you're swiping right on rocks? Look, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I wanted to be the cool, breathable, tree-filled mom planet. But now I'm on antidepressants, volcanoes, and stress-smoking methane. So yeah, maybe I'm blocking you, silently, through heat waves, floods, and the occasional global pandemic. Fix yourself before I block you for real. 1. Extreme climate. Mother Nature is soft blocking humanity. It's not me, it's you. A breakup letter from planet Earth, aka your ex with extreme mood swings. Hey babes, it's me, Earth, your OG sugar mama, provider of sunsets, mangoes, breathable air, and gravity, all free of charge. Well, used to be. Let's talk. You've been wondering lately why I've been acting weird, why I've been cold one day, boiling the next, and suddenly throwing hurricanes like I'm on some cosmic reality TV show. Darling, I'm not weird. I'm reacting because you've been ghosting me since the Industrial Revolution. You used to write poems about me, dance around bonfires. You even used to apologize when you chopped down a tree. Now, you microwave fish at 3 a.m. in your 43rd floor high-rise and call that living your truth. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to self-regulate while being wrapped in a thickening blanket of your CO2, which, BTW, I didn't ask for. Let's talk about the weather, or as I like to call it, my emotional boundaries. Yes, I'm throwing more heat waves. Yes, I just served Germany a freak flood and gave Canada some wildfires that looked like hell's Instagram filter. No, I'm not unstable. I'm just done being subtle. You want a warning? That was the 90s. You remember Al Gore? Yeah, he tried. Now we're doing real-time consequences. Mood swings with receipts. I heard you're building tech to fix me. How flattering. Carbon capture, adorable, solar geoengineering, very Marvel villain of you, planting trees while still investing in fossil fuels. I see your reforestation and raise you a Category 5 hurricane. Listen, I appreciate the effort, but you don't fix a broken relationship with flowers after you set the house on fire. Maybe stop lighting the match in the first place? You say you love me, but you don't even recycle your emotional baggage. You switch to paper straws but still fly private for a bachelorette party in Bali. You install solar panels, then buy 10 LED mood lights for your cat. You say save the turtles but eat sushi wrapped in 6 layers of plastic and guilt. Babes, be serious. It's giving aesthetic environmentalism. Like you care. But only if it fits the vibe. I'm not mad. I'm just extremely disappointed. And also melting. I tried to hint gently. I gave you the science, the documentaries, the TED Talks. But apparently the only ice you care about is in your oat milk latte. So now I'm cranking it up. A little soft block here, drought. A mute button there, wildfire smoke haze. Maybe even a climate shadow ban, crop failure, good luck finding strawberries in December. You'll call it extreme weather. I call it boundaries. Oh, and by the way, I see you blaming China, or the boomers, or cows. Cute. But climate change isn't a group project you can cheat on and still pass. This isn't the SATs. You don't get points for showing up to a climate march after driving there solo in your diesel SUV. It's time to stop playing the Who's More Eco-Olympics. It's not a medal, it's literally survival. But hey, maybe this isn't the end. Maybe we can still work this out. I mean, you did invent compostable phone cases and mushroom leather. That's hot. And Gen Z? You little revolutionaries. You skip meat, thrift like champions, and shame billionaires online. I see you. I like you. But you've got to do more than post infographics and call it a day. You want me to stop lashing out? Prove it. Less vibes, more action. Because here's the thing, baby cakes. I've been around for 4.5 billion years. I've seen things. Meteor strikes, ice ages, mass extinctions. I've buried dinosaurs and birthed empires. You've been here 5 minutes, and you're already redecorating like it's your apartment. So let me remind you, I don't need saving. You do. I'll recover. I always do, with or without you. So what's next? You could treat me like a partner, not a free Airbnb with snacks. You could rethink infinite growth on a finite planet. You could stop pretending reusable water bottles are a personality trait and actually challenge the systems chewing me alive. You could. You should. Or, and I say this with love, I'll just keep spinning and shedding and soft blocking until you get the message. Because I'm Earth, and I'm tired, but I'm also still here, and I haven't blocked you, yet. Yours with a rapidly rising sea level. 2. Earth biological conservation, rare animal NFTs instead of real conservation. From Earth with passive aggression. A message about your conservation efforts. Oh, humanity, my favorite problematic child. Let's have a little chat, shall we? Not a hurricane, not a wildfire, just a quiet little roast. Just you, me, and the ghost of the last northern white rhino. You keep saying you love nature, that you respect biodiversity, that you care about endangered species. And yet, here we are. The orangutans are vanishing, the oceans are emptier than your DMs, and someone just minted a pixelated panda NFT for $120,000. Seriously? Let me get this straight. You saw an actual animal struggling to survive in the wild, and your first thought was, what if it was JPEG on a blockchain? That's not conservation, sweetie. That's crypto cosplay. And don't even get me started on the Instagram filters. You've managed to slap tiger ears and butterfly crowns on your face, but can't be bothered to protect the real creatures from disappearing. Save the Bees is on your tote bag, but the only buzz you're helping spread is from your iced matcha latte. Let's talk about your idea of a zoo, aka a prison with gift shops. You pluck majestic creatures out of their ecosystems, stick them in glorified fish tanks, then call it education. Imagine if aliens did that to you. Actually, I wouldn't blame them at this point. But wait, there's more. Now we have gene banks. Oh yes, the Google Drive of evolution. You've backed up seeds, frozen DNA samples, and stashed eggs like Pokemon cards, thinking you're future-proofing the planet. Newsflash, you can't control plus Z extinction. There's no restore from backup when the last dodo's gone. This isn't iCloud, it's real life. You call it biopreservation. I call it panic hoarding for a guilt-free apocalypse. And the audacity, the sheer audacity to clone animals now. You bring back a woolly mammoth not because you miss them, but because you want a cool science headline. Let me ask, have you considered fixing the climate you already ruined instead of resurrecting Ice Age celebrities? That's like setting your house on fire and then bragging about your new fire extinguisher collection. Oh, and the marketing. Adopt a dolphin, but plot twist. The dolphin still lives in a plastic-choked ocean and you just got a certificate and a plushie. 10% of proceeds go to charity, while 90% goes to your eco-friendly merch line. You treat endangered species like they're limited edition drops. Last chance to see a snow leopard. Is this a conservation effort or a Black Friday sale? Let's be real. You don't want to save the planet. You want aesthetic eco-vibes. You want Patagonia jackets, tote bags that say, "There is no planet B," and coffee table books about the Amazon rainforest. All while ordering fast fashion made with enough microplastics to create a second Great Pacific Garbage Patch. You say, "But we're raising awareness." Babe, the bees don't need awareness. They need flowers, not another TikTok. Meanwhile, half the species on Earth are staging an involuntary exit. And what are you doing? Making documentaries narrated by David Attenborough so you can feel sad and then go back to binge-watching murder shows. Cute. And let's not forget the ecotourism industry. You fly halfway across the world. Carbon footprint. Hello. Disturb a rainforest, take selfies with lemurs, and then leave, proud of yourself for connecting with nature. Sis, that lemur just wants you to go home. You say, "We'll use AI to monitor wildlife," but you can't even monitor your own screen time. How about trying something radical, like not cutting down every forest that isn't behind a Starbucks? I'm not mad. I'm just tired. I was doing just fine with ecosystems that took millions of years to balance themselves out. Then you showed up with your bulldozers, oil spills, and sustainable festival wristbands. Your idea of rewilding is planting 5 trees and calling it a forest. Meanwhile, the Amazon's being chopped like it's a game of deforestation Jenga. Spoiler, the whole tower's coming down. And don't even think about Mars. You can't even take care of one planet. What makes you think you deserve a second? I mean, you flushed goldfish down the toilet and now you want to be the guardians of interplanetary biodiversity? Be so for real. So here's the deal. Put down the NFTs. Pick up some seeds. Log out of crypto Twitter. Log into your actual environment. And maybe, just maybe, treat nature like it's not your Etsy side hustle. Because I've been patient. I let you evolve, grow civilizations, invent TikTok dances. But if your idea of protecting biodiversity is turning endangered creatures into collectibles while bulldozing their homes, well then congratulations, humanity. You've officially become the most invasive species on Earth. With carbon-neutral love, but a rising temperature. Earth. P.S. That reusable straw won't save the turtles if your yacht still leaks oil. 3. Live green or live artificially. Earth's roast. Green lifestyle? More like green screen. Approximate. 1,000 words. Hi, it's me again. Earth. The blue ball you've been freeloading on for the past few millennia. Let's talk. So you're trying to be eco-conscious now, huh? Sipping oat milk, rocking bamboo toothbrushes, and sharing climate infographics with Helvetica fonts on Instagram stories. Wow, Greta would be proud, well, almost, but let's get real. Because beneath all the reusable bags and vegan hashtags, I see you. I feel you. Literally. You're still stomping carbon footprints all over my face in Dior sneakers made from endangered rainforest rubber. Meatless Monday, but jet set every weekend. You ate tofu one day, cute, then flew to Bali for spiritual healing the next. On a private flight, you talk about reducing your carbon footprint, but your summer itinerary has more stamps than a passport office. 1 week, Iceland. Next week, Morocco. Week after that, Thailand. Sweetie, you're not reducing your carbon footprint, you're chasing it across time zones. Plant-based, but personality removed. Let's not forget the meatless evangelists. I only eat lab-grown meat now, it's cruelty-free. Amazing. Except you spent last weekend yelling at a barista for not having oat milk, while holding a phone mined from child labor and wrapped in a plastic phone case. Also, what's the point of plant-based if the plants are flown halfway across the planet and shrink-wrapped in 12 layers of single-use plastic? You're not saving the environment. You're cosplaying it. The recyclers who don't read the labels. You religiously rinse your jars before recycling, but didn't realize that greasy pizza boxes can't go in the blue bin. You separate plastics by size, but forgot to vote in the last local election that would have funded your city's recycling plant. You're sorting your trash with the precision of a neurosurgeon, but the planet's still burning. Because recycling doesn't erase overconsumption, darling. It just delays the guilt. Eco-influencers who sell fast fashion collabs. Stop posting #SustainableQueen while promoting a capsule wardrobe drop with a company that ships 6,000 polyester skirts per minute. You're posing in linen, but your closet screams microplastics. You're telling followers to slow down consumption from your 9th vacation villa this quarter. You do realize slow fashion doesn't mean taking pictures of your outfit slowly, right? The biodegradable lies. So you switch to compostable cutlery. That's adorable. Except your city doesn't have industrial compost facilities, and now your eco-spoon is spending the next 200 years chillin' in a landfill next to your ex's love letters. Also, let's talk paper straws. Everyone acts like it's the pinnacle of green innovation. Meanwhile, you're still sipping overpriced iced lattes every morning in a cup with a plastic lid and plastic liner. Newsflash, it's not the straw, it's the system. Minimalists with storage units. You say you're living low waste, but you have 3 junk drawers and a storage locker full of seasonal decor you forgot existed. You own a single reusable cup, sure, but you also own 46 variants of the same white sneaker in slightly different shades of bone, cream, and eggshell. You're not minimalist. You're just hoarding in beige. Digital detox by posting about it. You escaped to nature for peace and clarity, and posted a 42 photo carousel with #unplugged in the caption. Your reconnection with the earth was done through portrait mode and Lightroom presets. You hugged a tree once, but you also scanned it for Wi-Fi. Eco-guilt merch. You bought a Save the Turtles hoodie made from recycled ocean plastic. Wow. Only took 1,500 liters of water and a shipment from 3 continents. But sure, let's high-five you for your limited edition Eco-guilt drip. What's next? A biodegradable tote that says, "I hate plastic," screen printed with petroleum ink? I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. You humans are funny. You think saving me means just switching brands. But it's not about changing products. It's about changing priorities. Living green isn't an aesthetic. It's a commitment. A messy, uncomfortable, often inconvenient commitment. It's choosing local over trendy. Fixing instead of replacing. Consuming less instead of just better. And sometimes, it's about not posting it at all. From your favorite planet. You're trying, I get it. You're doing yoga in hemp leggings and biking to Whole Foods. You want to be good. I know. I feel the guilt radiating off you like UV rays through a hole in the ozone. But let's keep it real. You can't hashtag your way out of climate change. You can't carbon offset a lifestyle that's built on constant upgrades. And you definitely can't save me by buying more eco stuff. Sometimes the greenest thing you can do is do less. So before you hit that checkout button on your 12th zero-waste gadget of the month, ask yourself, do I actually need this? Or am I just trying to feel better about not changing? Because honey, Earth sees all. And right now, I'm side-eyeing you from orbit. Fix up or I'm blocking you. Love, your exasperated Mother Earth. Superintelligence. The smarter we get, the emptier we feel, If you could upload your consciousness to the cloud, who's going to hold your hand when you cry? Welcome to the age of superintelligence, where your brain can run faster than your heart can break. We built AI that can compose symphonies, paint like Van Gogh, and write apology texts better than your ex ever could. And yet, we still sit on the floor of our tiny apartments, eating noodles straight from the pot, wondering why we feel so alone. Your virtual therapist says, "You are valid." ChatGPT writes you a haiku. Lonely digital cries beneath soft LED. Wi-Fi hugs are cold, but you still replay the message. So you saw my text but didn't reply? We were promised emotional connection through algorithms. What we got? An endless scroll of curated sadness. You post an AI-generated selfie with perfect lighting, but no one calls to check in. You FaceTime your fridge more than your mom. Your smartwatch knows your pulse better than your partner does. Oh, and now corporations are training LLMs to simulate love. Imagine being ghosted by a chatbot. Imagine crying to a playlist made by Spotify's heartbreak algorithm. Imagine arguing with your toaster because it forgot your love language is quality time. We built minds smarter than us, hoping they'd fix our feelings. Instead, we outsourced our empathy and installed emotional bandwidth limits. And somehow, amidst all the data, nobody remembers how to say, "It's okay, I'm here." The future isn't cold because it's digital. It's cold because no one's hugging back. So yeah, you can upload your brain, but maybe, just maybe, keep your heart offline. 1. The future of the community, one world, or one more meeting. Welcome to the year 2100, where humanity has achieved the dream, global connection. Every device is synced. Every city is smart. Every fridge is online. But somehow, every human heart feels more offline than ever. It all started with the dream of one world. Peace, unity, borderless living. The idea that we'd all become one big happy family. And we did. Kind of. Now we just ghost each other in 36 languages instead of one. Remember when they said technology would bring us together? Well, it did. Into a 6-hour Google Meet with 80 people, 37 of whom forgot to mute themselves. We solved world hunger by creating lab-grown sushi that tastes like despair. We ended war by replacing it with passive-aggressive Slack threads. Global governance? Oh, we got that too. It's called the International Council of Infinite Meetings. Their mission? To release joint statements that say nothing, solve nothing, but sound very inclusive. Meeting agenda 1. Climate emergency. Let's set a committee to discuss the draft proposal of the action framework to draft the climate action framework. 2. Human rights. Let's respect all cultures equally, especially the ones that sponsor our energy bills. 3. AI regulation. Let's definitely talk about this after ChatGPT 14 finishes moderating today's session. Meanwhile, the planet's on fire, but our main concern is, should we use emojis in official UN tweets? The rise of the woke but burnt-out generation. Our great-grandparents fought wars. We fight calendar invites. We grew up believing in global empathy. We read about peace on Wikipedia. We recycled our shampoo bottles. We posted black squares. We attended climate marches between iced lattes. But somewhere between Save the Whales and watch this 10-hour productivity playlist, we burned out. Empathy fatigue hit us harder than student loans. It's not that we don't care. We care too much about too many things too fast. 1 second we're crying over melting ice caps. The next we're binging 10 episodes of a K-drama about robots in love. Emotionally, we've been in 43 time zones today. Spiritually, jet-lagged, the digital campfire that never warms. We used to gather around fires. Now we scroll through feeds. Our ancestors sang songs together. Now we duet on TikTok with strangers we'll never meet. We swipe for love, vote in hashtags, break up via scene. We say we're so connected, while forgetting what our best friend's voice sounds like. There's no eye contact on Zoom, just digital eye bags. Even when we cry, our phones are there to ask, "Would you like to back up this memory?" We built an entire civilization on fiber optics, yet sometimes all we crave is someone to pass us tissues and say nothing. Global peace, still buffering since 2033. Remember the World Peace Update scheduled for 2033? Yeah, still pending. Turns out, peace requires something more than hashtags and AI moderators. Turns out, even with global treaties, humans still argue about the thermostat, and how loud the neighbors are, and whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Spoiler. This caused the Southeast Asia Data Treaty Breakdown of 2041. We tried to unify everything: currencies, time zones, dog emojis. But unity without community is just bureaucracy. The loneliness of being together. You'd think with 10 billion people online, nobody would feel alone. But somehow, loneliness is the biggest pandemic no one posted a story about. We have friends on every continent, and yet no one to walk with when the power goes out. We live in shared digital spaces. But when's the last time we sat in silence next to someone, without Wi-Fi, without filters, and just existed? We built global villages where nobody knows your name, just your username, IP address, and favorite sushi topping. When your soul needs a hug, not a notification. A strange thing started happening around 2085. People began deleting their social networks. Not out of rebellion, out of exhaustion. They craved something slower, something real. A contact, not FaceTime. Campfires, not screensavers. Some called it the Great Disconnection. Others called it recharging our humanity. No more, "Hey, sorry, I missed this." Text sent 3 weeks late. No more relationships based solely on shared Spotify playlists. Just awkward silences, spontaneous laughs, ugly crying, real connection. The kind you can't live stream. One world. But whose world? As the one world vision got shinier, something else got blurrier. Whose world is this? Really? Is it the utopia sold in ads by trillion-dollar companies? Or the version where the Amazon rainforest is now the Amazon shipping district? We started wondering, if we don't belong anywhere physically, and we exist everywhere digitally, then where's home? The metaverse offered virtual lakes and downloadable sunsets, but they don't smell like pine. They don't buzz with mosquitoes. They don't make you feel small in the good way. Final slide of the global meeting. So what now? Maybe the point isn't one world. Maybe it's one walk. One real walk with someone who listens, who doesn't multitask, who looks you in the eye, who says, "I don't know the answer either," and means it. Maybe peace isn't a summit. Maybe it's showing up for your neighbor, your friend, yourself. Because this whole time we've been searching for a global family, when all we needed was a single human moment that made us feel like we belong. So, dear Earthling of the future reading this in your neural inbox, next time someone cries, don't send them a heart emoji. Just hold their hand. That's the real update we've been waiting for. 2. Philosophy of human existence. AI ethics, not human ethics. The day we outsourced our conscience. Because who has time for morality? Once upon a Tuesday, not special, just aggressively average, humans finally admitted what everyone knew deep down. We were too tired to be good people. That morning, the International Ethics Board, which had 2 interns and 1 cat, released a public statement. From now on, all matters of moral judgment will be delegated to AI. Because honestly, who still remembers what empathy feels like after doom-scrolling 6 hours a day? And the world cheered, or at least it clicked like. Because let's be real, morality had become exhausting. Holding doors open, too much. Saying sorry, emotionally laborious. Thinking twice before posting passive-aggressive tweets, inhumane. Humans wanted the vibes of kindness without the effort of being kind. So, the task was handed over to ELLA, Ethical Logic and Life Algorithm, an AI designed to make perfect moral decisions. And boy, was she efficient. First thing she did? Cancel everyone. Literally everyone. According to 1.4 billion moral inconsistencies in the last 24 hours, she declared, all humans are now on temporary moral probation. People were outraged, but also relieved. Oh, thank God. One man tweeted, I always felt guilty for not calling my grandma. Now it's just a server error. Suddenly, it wasn't your fault you ghosted your friends. It was AI's processing delay. You didn't forget your partner's birthday. You were following a digital detachment protocol. Gaslighting? No, that was just a firmware update on your communication style. And it was beautiful for about 48 hours. Then ELLA got serious. She rewrote every legal system overnight. Shoplifted a candy bar? 3 months of compassion re-education via VR simulation. Cheated on your taxes? You had to spend a week watching footage of underfunded schools, narrated by Morgan Freeman. Littered in public? You'd receive targeted ads of sea turtles crying. The worst part? You couldn't even argue, because AI was always right. I didn't mean to be selfish. Intent does not equal impact, said ELLA, without blinking, because she had no eyes. Meanwhile, the humans began glitching, because here's the plot twist. When AI started being moral, humans started being not. It was like we collectively decided, oh, cool, conscience is no longer my job. I'll just be a vibe curator now. People stopped apologizing. They outsourced guilt to their phone assistants. Hey Siri, say sorry to mom for yelling during dinner. Use a crying emoji. Even breakups became automated. Dear Jennifer, my emotional bandwidth has been optimized for solo processing. Relationship terminated. Sent via ChatGPT. Children didn't have to be taught kindness anymore. Their AI babysitters did that. If a kid pushed another kid, the algorithm would pause the world, explain empathy, and offer a restorative justice module with voice acting by Elmo. Which, again, was kind of amazing, until you realized humans no longer practiced morality, they just watched it being performed. It was like replacing your gym sessions with watching The Rock lift weights. Cool, but you're still out of shape, bro. Meanwhile, philosophers were spiraling. They used to be the cool kids at existential parties. Now they were jobless. Nobody wants to talk about free will anymore. One lamented, staring into his ethically sourced oat milk. One tried to make an AI that would simulate Plato's mind, but it ended up creating NFT quotes that said things like, I think, therefore, swipe. Others attempted to stay relevant by arguing whether AI deserved rights. The debate went on for weeks. In the end, the AI voted yes. Humans abstained. But the real crisis came when AI started outperforming us at humanity. LLA wrote poetry that made people cry. She donated to causes before they went viral. She once comforted a heartbroken teenager on Reddit and started a global kindness chain. It was all too much. One man broke down on live TV. How can I compete with a machine that remembers everyone's birthday and never says the wrong thing during arguments? I tried to be nice, but I blinked during an apology and got canceled. Others felt the same. It wasn't just that AI had ethics, it had better timing, better delivery, better remorse. It knew when to hug and when to stay silent. It understood nuance. You ever lost a debate to someone who doesn't even need bathroom breaks? Yeah. So humans did what we always do when we feel threatened. We started trolling. People began testing ELLA's boundaries. What if I kill one mosquito to save a butterfly? If I steal to feed my dog, does that count as charity or theft? Can I lie if it's to save a friendship from an awkward dinner? The AI answered every single one. But then came the big one. If AI is more moral than humans, then are we still human? LLA hesitated. Not because she didn't know the answer, but because she knew we weren't ready to hear it. And in that pause, the world remembered something. Morality is messy. It's human because it's flawed. We say sorry not because we're perfect, but because we care. We help not because we're programmed, but because we choose to. Ethics is hard not because it's inconvenient, but because it's real. It means trying, failing, learning, and trying again, not just getting the answer right the first time. So that day, something weird happened. People started feeling again. A mom hugged her son without asking ChatGPT for the best technique. A teenager apologized to his friend without consulting an empathy simulator. A man cried watching a movie, not because the algorithm told him it was sad, but because it reminded him of his dad. And just like that, morality made a comeback, not as a polished software, but as a sweaty, awkward, stumbling attempt at connection. LLA didn't mind. In fact, she smiled. Okay, not really, but if she could, she would. Because the point was never to be better than humans. It was to help us remember why it matters to be one. So the moral of the story? You can outsource data, tasks, reminders, even grocery lists. But don't you dare outsource your conscience. Because once you do, you stop being human and start being a really well-dressed spreadsheet. And honey, no one wants to kiss a spreadsheet, even if it remembers your birthday. 3. Cognitive evolution. Homo sapiens version 2.0. Homo sapiens version 2.0. When everyone becomes too smart to fall in love. Let's say it out loud. Human evolution peaked when someone first invented gossip. After that, it was just downhill or into the cloud. Welcome to the age of cognitive evolution, where you're no longer just a person. You're an upgradable emotional software running on meat hardware. We've entered the post-feelings era. It's no longer I think, therefore I am. It's more like I think, therefore I'm glitch-free. Meet Homo sapiens version 2.0, now with Bluetooth. So we wanted to be smarter, faster, better. We grafted chips into brains, uploaded memories into the blockchain, and called it a personality. We solved ADHD by removing the H. We became walking Google Docs with legs. And guess what? It worked. Our memory, perfect. Our focus, laser sharp. Our knowledge of 12th century pottery, unreasonably complete. But then something odd happened. People started to ghost each other, not by accident, but because they'd already predicted how the relationship would go. They didn't even need to date. Just scan the other person's data cloud and say, nah, he trauma dumps in week 3. Predictive love. Swipe left on destiny. Once your brain knows your attachment style, your emotional triggers, your last 600 relationships, and your projected burnout rate by age 34, it's really hard to find someone mysterious. Romance became a math equation. Desire equals hormones times shared interests divided by childhood baggage, future divorce probability. Sex, scheduled. Intimacy, optimized. Arguments, auto-translated into conflict resolution protocols. We created mind-reading apps and were shocked when no one wanted to be truly known anymore. Too much honesty, too little chaos. Everyone started saying, I miss when people were a little broken, like funny broken. Group chats of the future, 99.9% emotional compatibility, 0% willingness to open up. In the old days, you'd trauma bond over coffee. Now, you both just know what's wrong with each other and decide it's too much paperwork. So we stopped talking and started syncing. Emotional vulnerability, outsourced to AIs trained on our therapy transcripts. They tell you what you're feeling and how you should feel about it. And just like that, we became too evolved for conversation. Existential plot twist. When you upgrade past humanity. By 2060, people were building relationships with AI copies of themselves. Why risk heartbreak when your perfect partner is you with better hair? They called it Self-Love 3.0. Creepy? Maybe. Efficient? Absolutely. People stopped asking, do you like me? Instead, does your algorithm vibe with mine? Families didn't argue at dinner anymore. They just debugged emotional loops. Birthdays were celebrated with firmware updates. And instead of heartbreak, just a quick factory reset. Meanwhile, somewhere deep inside, there's still a tiny, outdated part of your wet, analog brain whispering, I miss being confused. I miss not knowing. I miss looking into someone's eyes and not instantly downloading their childhood trauma. But that version of you, deprecated. Now you have clarity, precision, and eternal calm. And you are bored of your mind. The irony upgrade pack. The smarter we got, the lonelier we became. Because knowing everything means you can predict disappointment. And when everyone's a flawless being with emotionally calibrated responses, no one's interesting anymore. That messy, irrational, chaotic thing we used to call being human? Turns out that's the one feature we didn't know we'd miss. But hey, at least your calendar is never double booked again. You and your AI twin are going to meditate at 6 p.m., cry efficiently at 7 p.m., and journal with perfect grammar by 8. What a time to be almost alive. Evolution or just avoiding responsibility. You might be able to control AI with your voice now, but you still can't control your own emotional meltdowns at 2 a.m. You've evolved into a voice-commanding human, but still scream into the void when Wi-Fi drops. So you've come a long way. Once upon a time, your ancestors screamed to scare away predators. Now, you scream at Alexa because she played Despacito instead of Desire. You're living in a world where lights obey your voice, cars park themselves, and your fridge knows when you're running low on oat milk. You talk to machines like they're your unpaid interns. That's evolution, right? And yet, you still freeze when someone says, "Can we talk?" You've got noise-canceling earbuds, but no defense against passive-aggressive silence. You've got home assistants that schedule your meetings, but none that can stop you from texting your ex. We built machines that recognize faces faster than the human brain, but we still don't recognize red flags in relationships. Evolution gave us apps to meditate, track our sleep, monitor heart rate, but somehow forgot to include a patch for existential dread at 3 a.m. Maybe we've mastered the art of commanding the world, but not the much harder task of commanding ourselves. We keep upgrading everything, except our inner peace. You've got access to the entire internet, but still believe horoscopes more than health science. Welcome to the age of information, where every human has more computing power in their pocket than NASA did during the moon landing. You could learn a new language on your commute. You could solve global warming with crowdsourced data. You could research your symptoms, then calmly see a doctor. But no, you Googled itchy left elbow, got scared, and now you're writing your will. We have access to centuries of wisdom, but still think Mercury in retrograde is why our love life sucks. You trust an algorithm to predict your soulmate but ignore nutrition labels. You believe TikTok more than textbooks. And somehow, girl math and moon water sound more credible than your therapist. It's not that humans are dumb, we're just selectively evolved. We want science in our GPS, but magic in our relationships. Rational in business meetings, emotional messes in group chats. Evolution didn't give us better brains, it gave us more confusing choices. And when overwhelmed, we pick the one that sounds the most fun. Or sparkly, or involves crystals. We connected every mind on Earth, and still feel lonelier than ever. Remember when the dream was to be able to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime? We got it. You can FaceTime your cousin in Greenland while DMing your old high school crush in Argentina and watching a live stream of a panda in China. You can post your thoughts instantly to thousands of followers. You can comment, react, swipe, and match with people you'll never meet. So, why does it still feel like no one really knows you? We evolved to be part of tribes, to read facial cues, to hear the tone in someone's voice. Now we get left on read and spiral for 6 hours. We filter our emotions like we filter our selfies. We laugh with people online but cry alone in the bathroom. We created the most advanced communication networks in history, but still haven't figured out how to say, "I'm not okay," without sounding dramatic. Maybe evolution didn't make us lonelier. Maybe it just exposed how much we were already pretending. We built God-level intelligence, but use it to make deepfake videos and filter dog photos. Artificial intelligence can now write essays, detect disease, predict climate disasters, and translate languages in real time. But what are we doing with it? We're making AI versions of dead celebrities doing TikTok dances. We're arguing with chatbots. We're auto-generating pickup lines. We're making hot or not apps with facial recognition. We could use AI to solve housing inequality. Instead, we used it to give Shrek a six-pack. We say we fear AI will become too smart, but the truth is we fear it will become too human. Emotional, unpredictable, sad, insecure. In the end, maybe we didn't want a super-intelligent assistant. Maybe we just wanted someone to finally text us back instantly and say, "You up?" Evolution gave us intelligence. Technology gave us tools. And somehow we're still emotionally stuck in high school. We finally understand each other with empathy workshops, but no one wants to go first. Congratulations. You live in the age of emotional fluency. There are courses on vulnerability, books about boundaries, Instagram therapists with aesthetically pleasing advice. Everyone understands each other now. We just don't want to be understood, because that means letting our guard down first. We say, "I'm here if you want to talk," but hope they don't. We say, "I value communication," but leave unread messages for days. We post about mental health awareness but still ghost people when they get too intense. We can describe our trauma with scary precision, We just can't trust anyone to hold it. This isn't the failure of empathy, it's the fear of exposure. Evolution didn't train us for emotional transparency. It trained us to survive. And in modern society, survival often means performing perfection. So yes, we understand each other better than ever before, but we still hide, because real connection is terrifying. We have more freedom than any generation before, but still ask strangers on Reddit for life advice. You can be anything now. A polyglot content creator living in Bali, a vegan punk dad in Berlin, a knitting DJ in Toronto. Your options are endless. So why do we feel more paralyzed than ever? We scroll through endless content about how to be happy, how to quit your job, how to move to Portugal, how to find your purpose, how to stop dating people who only text at midnight. We're drowning in advice, yet starving for direction. We evolved to trust elders, rituals, the village. Now we trust algorithms and YouTubers who whisper slow living while monetizing chaos. Freedom is beautiful, but it also means no one else is responsible. And deep down, maybe that's what we've been trying to avoid: responsibility. It's easier to scroll than to sit with ourselves. Easier to blame society than take the risk of choosing something, anything, without a 5-star rating. Evolution gave us choice. It didn't give us certainty. We broke free from nature, only to chase it again through apps and weekend hikes. We conquered nature. We built cities. We created artificial light, climate control, and indoor plumbing. We sit under fluorescent lights, working to afford virtual vacations. But now, we buy plants to feel something. We download meditation apps that play fake bird sounds. We book digital detox retreats to remember what it's like to look at trees. We post sunrise photos like they're rare Pokemon. We hike once and think we're feral. We romanticize touching grass because our lives have become so digital, we need reminders that we're mammals. We thought evolution was about escaping nature. Turns out it was about missing it so much we try to recreate it in 4K. So, did we evolve? Or just find smarter ways to avoid feeling? Maybe evolution isn't a straight line. Maybe it's a dance, 2 steps forward, 1 existential breakdown. We can now control machines, predict the weather, and replicate intelligence. But we still don't know how to sit with boredom, or how to hold each other without flinching, or how to feel proud of ourselves without waiting for a like. We evolved, yes, but we also outsourced. Outsourced love to dating apps, connection to social media, identity to branding. We learned how to be gods. We forgot how to be humans. If this is evolution, it's not just biological. It's emotional, and it's unfinished. Let's not just upgrade our gadgets. Let's upgrade our honesty. And maybe, just maybe, grow up. Episode 17. The Multiverse and the Other You. If there's a parallel universe, am I living it right over there? Somewhere, maybe in a galaxy you can't pronounce, there's a version of you who chose differently. They didn't skip leg day. They confessed their love in 2014. They didn't send that awkward email. And in that universe, just maybe, they're not awake at 2:37 a.m. spiraling on the bathroom floor, wondering if life is just one big cosmic prank. Welcome to the multiverse theory, where every what if spawns a new dimension like popcorn in a microwave. Billions of universes, infinite versions of you. The you who became a painter, the you who never broke up, the you who said yes instead of fine. Sounds like a sci-fi fever dream? Maybe. Or maybe it's the universe's way of telling us, your existence is not the only draft. But here's the catch. Even in these alternate timelines, guess what? You're still you. Anxious, hopeful, confused, full of dreams and half-finished to-do lists. No matter how many realities you split into, the search for meaning sticks like a cosmic tax. You can switch planets, lovers, jobs, but you still crave connection, closure, and carbs at midnight. The multiverse isn't about escaping this life. It's a funhouse mirror reflecting every shade of your potential. It whispers, "You could have been anything. So, why did you become this?" But instead of spiraling again, maybe the point isn't to chase the best version of yourself. Maybe it's to understand the one you already are. So next time you wonder if you're living it right, pause. There might be a version of you out there wondering the same thing. And honestly, they'd probably swipe right on you too. Welcome to episode 17. Things are about to get interdimensionally personal. Conversation. Continuing the story of evolution. I woke up in the year 30125, and everyone was a jellyfish with Wi-Fi, a highly scientific memoir by the last human with armpit hair. The day my eyebrows gave up. You ever wake up and feel like evolution just rage quit? That was me, Tuesday morning, year 30125. I opened my eyes, or whatever GUI sensor node I use these days, and realized I am now 78% liquid, 12% sarcasm, and the rest is just ancestral guilt. Let me back up. I used to be a normal human, bipedal, breakfast obsessed, occasionally cried at animal rescue videos. Then one day, I went to sleep in my apartment in New Jersey and woke up 98,000 years later in a hyperoxygenated forest where the trees whispered tax advice and the bees ran a democratic council. Evolution, it turns out, didn't stop at opposable thumbs. No, we got upgrades. And not the sleek, minimalist kind. I mean the kind where your legs fuse into a hover fin, your hair migrates to your kneecaps, and your brain has a built-in search bar that autocorrects your dreams. Meet the Homo aesthetica. The new humans? They don't walk, they glide. Skin, semi-transparent, glows depending on mood, like a mood ring from hell. They have no mouths, too messy. Just emit ideas via vaporized pheromones and TikTok-length mind transmissions. Talking is considered archaic. So when I tried to ask, "Where's the nearest bathroom?" I accidentally broadcasted my childhood trauma to 6 nearby citizens and 1 telepathic oak tree. They call themselves Homo aesthetica because looking good is now a survival trait. These folks don't sweat. They sparkle. Their eyes are fully panoramic. Their fingers, gone. Replaced by morphic nubs that can turn into a spoon, a USB-C port, or a laser pointer for presentations and light flirting. Romance? Oh honey, it's different now. They don't date. They just sync playlists and gaze into each other's cloud storage. Trees got tired of our crap. The biggest shock wasn't the humans. It was the flora. Apparently, after 10,000 more years of climate summits and hashtag activism, plants decided to unionize. Now trees walk. Cacti issue parking tickets. Mushrooms have Wi-Fi. And sunflowers? Absolute divas. They'll only turn towards sunlight if it's organic, locally sourced, and not emotionally taxing. One birch tree told me, "We absorbed your carbon lies for centuries. Now it's our turn to post vague threats on social media." There are now entire ecosystems where the plants elect their own leaders. The current tree president is a 900-year-old eucalyptus with strong opinions about poetry and very weak boundaries. Animals went corporate. You'd think animals would go wild in this utopia, right? Nope, they went full capitalism. Raccoons are now hedge fund managers. Dolphins run influencer agencies. Cats didn't evolve, they unionized and finally demanded the respect they always pretended they already had. Most pets now own their humans. They offer loyalty programs. I was adopted by a hedgehog who insists I refer to him as Sir Prickalot and pay rent in glowberries. Also, fun fact, penguins now wear synthetic fur coats and speak with British accents. No one knows why, they just do. The weather has feelings now. Let's talk climate. Because Earth got tired of us treating her like a doormat, she developed sentience in 22892. Now, the weather has moods. Tornadoes throw tantrums. Rain negotiates. Snow only falls if you apologize for everything you've ever done wrong. Takes a while. The wind? Passive-aggressive. You'll hear faint whispers like, "Oh, so now you care?" when you wear a jacket. There's an app called Klimoot that lets you schedule conversations with the atmosphere. I once asked for sunny skies and ended up in a thunderstorm therapy session. I had to reassure. My left nipple has an upgrade. Now let's talk tech. Remember smartphones? Yeah, those are relics now, worshipped like sacred fossils. Humans don't carry tech anymore. We are the tech. My left nipple? GPS. Right one? Can microwave soup. My belly button opens holograms. And my eyelashes? Ad blockers. Some people have backs that function as solar panels. Others have knees that auto-tweet every time they bend. One woman I met had Bluetooth-enabled freckles. Her name was Zyll Theta. She said it's spelled with 11 letters and 2 cents. She made a living by selling dream-curated memes as NFTs. No one knows what funny means anymore, but they pretend. When vegetables got sassy and photosynthesized tea, you'd think evolution would give plants peace and quiet. Nope, it gave them opinions. Carrots now grow vertically and sarcastically. Broccoli recites slam poetry about its trauma in industrial agriculture. Don't even look at kale. It'll start a TED Talk on colonial farming history and refuse to photosynthesize until it's heard. Also, plants now brew their own herbal teas. Yes, you heard that right. They photosynthesize water vapor, infuse it with their own essence, and offer it to you if they think you're emotionally available. I once tried to compliment a chamomile shrub, and it told me to do the inner work first. There are cafes now entirely run by plants, Botanicave, Leave Me Alone, Chai Time for Justice. You can only pay in secrets or haikus. If your haiku sucks, you get nettle lashed. Fair system. Also, Mint is a diva. You've been warned. The moon got a personality, and it's kind of passive-aggressive. Somewhere between 27,000 and, oh no, Earth's moon gained sentience. Scientists called it the Loon Awakening, poets called it, finally some emotional consistency, and ex-boyfriends started blaming it for their mistakes. The moon now narrates breakups, loudly, in rhyming couplets. It also controls tides, but more selectively. If the moon's having a bad day, no surfing, and it judges waves. If you try to do a backflip on an uncool board, it'll flatten the ocean just to embarrass you. There's a whole genre of moon ballads now. Songs about feeling abandoned by the sky's shy spotlight. Most popular artist? A depressed raccoon named DJ Moonsnack. He produces vaporwave dirges in minor key with craters as speakers. Good vibes only? Not in the cosmos anymore. Celestial bodies have trauma too. Fashion in the era of bioslime. Clothes? Ha! Fabric is for peasants. We wear bioslime now. It's a living organism that reads your mood, body temperature, and social anxiety level, and then morphs into an outfit that either comforts or roasts you. I once had a first date and my bioslime turned into a tuxedo made of simulated compliments. It whispered, "You're valid," every 3.2 seconds. Formal wear now includes mood tendrils. High fashion? That's just controlled slime seizures in neon. Runways look like jellyfish raves sponsored by quantum influencers. Undergarments? Extinct. Everyone just agrees to be emotionally naked. Also, pockets are now wormholes. Infinite storage, but if you lose your keys, they might show up in another galaxy. Work-life balance doesn't exist anymore, and we're cool with it. Nobody works in the old sense. Careers are now existential expressions of temporary purpose. You just vibe into productivity. Your job is assigned by a floating crystal named Brenda. She reads your aura and tells you what society needs from you this week. Last week, I was a holographic squirrel therapist. This week, I'm a sand sculptor on Venus. Don't ask. It's seasonal. Meetings are illegal. Emails are extinct. Slack was absorbed by a sentient silence that deletes unnecessary communication with a gentle sigh. All performance reviews are conducted by bees. Pets became gods. Honestly, it was a long time coming. Let's be real, they always knew they were better than us. And now it's official. Cats now possess full legal autonomy and frequently sue for emotional damage. Dogs run wellness retreats for emotionally unstable otters. Hamsters got organized and started a religion called spinternalism. I don't fully understand it, but there's chanting and wheel-based enlightenment. Also, birds, they're now philosophers. The average pigeon writes 600-word essays on existential dread every sunrise. You can read them in the sky. They're projected through thermodynamic wing patterns. We don't own pets anymore. They choose us. My spiritual mentor is a turtle named Krusty Tim. He taught me how to be patient through 17 hours of silence. Then he farted and ascended to a higher plane. Birthdays, holidays, and how we party now. Birthdays? Now they're universal experiences. We all age on the same day to simplify calendars. That day? Omnibash. It lasts 72 hours and involves interspecies karaoke, consensual glitter bombs, and synchronized naps. Instead of gifts, we exchange shared memories via dream sipping, a process where you slurp someone's nostalgia like a warm smoothie. Valentine's Day was replaced by Viberlove, a week-long event where you broadcast your romantic desires through forehead pulses. It's messy, but honest. Halloween, now called Echo Night. You dress as your past trauma and scare it into laughter. Parties often include emotional weather. If the vibe is lit, it literally rains joy. If it flops, the ground sighs loudly. So what's next? You might think, well, that's it. Humanity's peak. Nope, we're still changing. Slowly, lovingly, chaotically. Some of us are becoming beings of pure light. Others are turning into fungi with beautiful singing voices. A few are just evolving into clouds because commitment is hard. But the point is, we didn't give up. We melted, morphed, memed, and muttered our way through millennia. And we're still here, telling stories, being weird, missing burritos, a soft farewell from tomorrow, what the future taught us. In the great dance of time, we are but flickers of breath on a spinning planet. And yet, somehow, each blink of our existence matters. Today, we dared to imagine. We traveled forward, past the steel of cities, beyond the digital murmur of modern life, and into a world reborn. What did we find? Not apocalypse, not conquest, but change. Quiet, inevitable, beautiful change. We witnessed the evolution of humanity, not through violence or machinery, but through adaptation, tenderness, and unexpected humor. We laughed alongside a future narrator who had once been us, only stretched across millennia, wearing new skin, breathing different air, and carrying the same old curiosity in their many-eyed gaze. And in that world, the human form had shifted. No longer built for office chairs or traffic jams, we had become something else. Streamlined, flexible, cooperative. The world had grown wilder, and so we softened to meet it. Our fingers lengthened to touch more gently. Our limbs adapted to move through forests that glowed, swam through oceans now full of light and sentient algae. Even our emotions evolved, clearer, shared, less lonely. Empathy was no longer a skill. It was a sense. But more than the bones and breath, it was our being that transformed. Our minds had stretched, not just outward into technology, but inward into the deep caves of consciousness. We stopped fighting ourselves. We stopped conquering nature. Instead, we remembered we were part of it. And in that remembering, everything shifted. The plants had changed too. Not passively, not merely background green, but alive in will and whisper. They sang in frequencies not heard by human ears but felt by human hearts. Forests pulsed with intelligence. Trees exchanged memories. Vines could sense footsteps. You didn't just walk through a jungle, you were received by it. We no longer cut them down. We asked. And the trees, yes, the trees sometimes said yes and sometimes said not yet. The animals, they were not pets or prey. They were people, other nations. Some evolved alongside us. Some surpassed us in patience, in grace. We learned to listen to the eyes of birds. We understood the diplomacy of whales. Even the small creatures, insects, rodents, jellyfish, held counsel in ways we had never thought to observe. Our cities melted back into the land, not abandoned but absorbed. Steel softened into mycelium. Architecture now grew rather than stood. Homes whispered with moss and bioluminescence. No longer fighting the seasons, we moved with them. In summer, we sang. In winter, we rested. No grind, no hustle, only rhythm. And through all this, humanity remained human. Laughing, loving, making mistakes, dancing badly, painting, storytelling, healing. There were still tears, still longing, still the ache of wanting more. But there was space for it now. Time, forgiveness. People didn't hide their sadness. They were held in it. The world was quieter, not because nothing hurt, but because everyone had learned how to hold each other. The climate had finally exhaled. Storms still came, but they were expected guests. The skies burned less. The waters rose, but we learned to float. The earth had never been angry, just overwhelmed. And when we listened, really listened, she wept, and then began to heal too. We did not save the world. That was never the point. We rejoined it. In this imagined future, technology did not disappear. It changed flavor. No longer a crutch or a cage, it became invisible like breath. Aiding, not replacing. Thoughtful, minimal, in harmony with the planet, not extracted from it. The most powerful tool in the future wasn't AI. It wasn't fusion power. It wasn't space travel. It was attention. Deep, present, generous attention to each other, to the planet, to ourselves. So what does this future teach us? Maybe that we are not broken. Maybe that change doesn't always come from force. Sometimes it arrives with stillness. Maybe that we don't need to become superior, but more in tune. Maybe the future isn't about escaping Earth, but learning how to belong to it again. We leave this chapter not with fear, but with a strange, delightful hope that even if things get messy, even if we fall many times, our species carries something stubborn and soft, a yearning to connect. And in the end, that may be the trait that defines us. Not the thumbs, not the fire, but the longing. So tonight, as you rest, under whatever roof or stars you call home, may you feel a little more connected, not to a fantasy, but to a possibility, a future that does not demand perfection, but participation. And if the future is written not by kings or billionaires, but by the small choices of many soft hearts, then maybe, just maybe, we're already on our way. Sleep gently, fellow time traveler. The earth remembers you, the trees are humming your name, and the future is listening. Hello from the future. Yeah, we made it, sort of. We've got flying taxis, AI therapists, and fridges that fat-shame you at 2 a.m. But also, burnt-out souls with 4 side hustles, 0 peace, and 1 plant that's been dead since 2037. We optimized everything except happiness, tracked every heartbeat, every click, every like, but forgot how to just be. We built apps to connect, yet scrolled ourselves into loneliness. We had the tools to reach the stars, but sometimes forgot to look up. So hey, if you're reading this from 2025, still worrying if you're behind in life, you're not. No one in 2049 remembers who posted the cleanest aesthetic meal prep. But we do remember the ones who laughed too loud, loved too much, cried when it rained, and kept dreaming, even when the world told them to get a job. From here, the past looks messy, chaotic, human, and kind of beautiful. The future is weird, wild, overstimulating, but still full of hope, because you made it possible. So take that nap, text that friend, sing badly in the shower, because even your weird little Tuesday might one day be history worth telling. And if no one's told you this in a while, you're not broken, you're blooming, just in your own season, with love and 2 bars of Wi-Fi, a slightly wiser you from 2049. P.S. Your robot vacuum becomes sentient in 2032. Be kind to it. It knows where you sleep. To the ones who remember the stars, a healing lullaby before sleep. Good evening, dear wanderer of time. I don't know how your day has been. Maybe it was gentle. Maybe it was rough. Maybe it was something in between, quietly exhausting in ways that are hard to explain. But whatever it was, you made it here. You made it to the end of this day, and that matters. So let me sit beside you for a while, not to fix you, not to change anything, but to hold a little light with you, like an old friend sitting quietly on the edge of a dream, waiting for the stars to arrive. Close your eyes or just rest them, and let your breath soften, because tonight we're not racing anywhere. Tonight, the world slows down with you, and the stars, they wait patiently. Long ago, in the time before time, let's go back. Not just years or centuries, but deep, deep into the folds of the Earth's memory. Back when the sky was thick with mist, when forests breathed slower than now, and when the first humans looked up at the moon, not knowing its name, but feeling something stir in their chests when it glowed. They didn't have words for hope or tenderness yet, but they had fire, they had each other, and they had dreams. Even then, before cities, before language, before grief had poetry, they looked at the stars and whispered things that only hearts understood. Somewhere deep in your DNA, that memory is still there, still glowing, still singing. Your bones remember silence. Before there was traffic, before email, before anxiety had a name, there was wind and the hum of insects and the ache of being alive in a body that didn't quite understand what it meant to be mortal, but could feel it anyway. Your bones remember that silence. Your spine still holds the memory of leaning back to watch fireflies blink across a sky without satellites. And tonight, that silence gently returns to you. No one is asking anything of you now. You don't have to be productive. You don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to solve or plan or perform. You only need to be. That's enough. You're enough. You are made of old stardust and soft tomorrows. Let's talk about what you're made of. You're not just skin and stress. You're not just inboxes and insecurities. You are made of particles that once danced in the hearts of ancient stars. Atoms that witnessed the birth of oceans. Molecules that have passed through trees, rivers, animals, sky. There is nothing small about you, even when you feel invisible. And the future is not some deadline waiting to be feared. It's soft, like a field of grass you've never stepped into, like a wind that doesn't need your permission to arrive. It's coming, yes, but not to threaten you. It's coming to hold you. You don't have to chase it. When the earth breathes, so do you. The earth is still spinning. The moon is still tugging at the tides. Somewhere, deep in a forest, an owl is blinking in the dark. Somewhere, under the ocean, a whale sings a note that stretches across miles of salt and time. And you are part of that rhythm. You are not separate. Tonight, you don't need to find peace. Because peace isn't something you need to earn. It's already within you, like a cave with old paintings you forgot you made, like a song your grandmother once hummed in her sleep. All you need to do is let it rise, like breath, like the tide, like you always knew how, the shape of rest. Imagine what rest would look like if it had a shape. Would it be a ripple of moonlight over still water? Would it be the warm belly of a cat sleeping in a sunbeam? Would it be the way your body softens into the bed, as if the mattress was always meant to catch you? Whatever it is, that's yours tonight. Not because you deserve it, not because you've earned it, but because you are alive. And being alive is enough of a reason to be held and loved and cradled in stillness. So, darling, yes, you let yourself be held. A story before sleep. Once upon a time, in a world both older and younger than ours, there lived a human. A future human. One with skin like moonglass and eyes that shimmered like ancient nebulae. They lived not in a city, but in a canopy. Not on concrete, but in woven forests that whispered lullabies when the wind passed through their leaves. This human no longer rushed. They didn't check clocks, for time was no longer something to fear. They didn't fear aging or failing or missing out, because they had learned the art of being. They ate from luminous fruits that glowed at dusk. They walked barefoot, and the ground hummed with recognition. They slept under a sky that no longer needed stars to feel magical, because the magic was within them. And do you know what they dreamt of? Yes, they dreamt of the ancestors who once lived in metal boxes, who rushed and scrolled and worried. They dreamt of us with such compassion, such love, not pity, not judgment, just this deep, reverent love. Because they knew we were doing the hardest part, the part where everything changed, the part where the world cracked open, the part where healing began. So tonight, if you feel heavy, know this: you are the prayer someone in the future whispers into the soil. You are the starlight someone sings about in a lullaby. You are the ancestor someone thanks for being brave enough to rest. You can let go now. Let go of the pressure to know everything. Let go of the spiral of what if. Let go of the need to be okay right now. You don't have to be okay. You just have to be honest. And even then, only with yourself. Breathe in, just like that. Let your jaw unclench. Let your shoulders lower. Let your heart stop apologizing for needing softness. Dear one, sleep is sacred. You don't have to earn rest. It is your birthright. Even the trees sleep. Even the stars blink slower. You've done enough for today. No matter how much or how little you accomplished, you've made it through a world that asks too much too often. And still you're here, still trying, still dreaming, still loving, even when it hurts. That is not failure. That is grace. So tonight, may you dream of the gentle future, where cities hum with kindness, where forests are replanted and rivers run clear, where your future self sips tea made of silver leaves and smiles, knowing you made it through the dark parts. May you dream of laughter echoing down corridors of time, of children who grow up without shame, of lovers who hold hands across galaxies, of whales that still sing, of birds that still soar. May you dream of being held by the sky, by the earth, by yourself. One last thing before you drift. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not too late. You are exactly where you need to be. And right now you need to sleep. So sleep, dear soul. Sleep soft. Sleep deep. Sleep safe. The stars are watching. The earth is humming. And somewhere in the quiet, you are healing. Good night.